Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Murray boils the basket. Final shot to Cleveland. Mitchell, 30-footer. Oh, yeah! What a close to the first quarter for the Cavaliers. Mitchell, no look! Mobley with the finish. Here since halftime.
No, they haven't. They've leveled off a little bit. Well, when you're shooting 60-some%, you have to level off.
How about Mobley with another triple? 6 to shoot. Cunningham shake and bake. Cunningham fires. Oh, yeah! Ozzie takes off. Middleton drills it towards the gap. It is gone! Truest magic tonight. A walk-off winner for Olsen.
Clock, 20 seconds left on this Utah power play. Vegas off ice, an aggressive stance. Steal by Howden. Scores!
AM 1310 WDPN. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show. So like I said on the show yesterday, Cavs are going to jump out to a huge lead. They'll be up by 30, and then the Raptors will cut into it, and the Cavs will end up winning by 12 or 13 or something like that. See, that's why you don't make prognostications on radio stations. Now, Cavaliers win last night, 125-120. Great Moses. They gave up 120 last night. They did not start out well at all. Down 12 early, down 12 later, but the Cavaliers held on to win by 5. So they win game 5, excuse me, and now we've got game 6. Back in Toronto, Friday night. I got 2 pieces of information for you. One you'll like, one you probably won't. The tip-off is set for 7:30-ish Friday night, and the game will be on Amazon Prime.
Yes,
Rainsburg, you're in luck.
Yeah, that's fantastic news for me.
So the games have been on what? Prime.
Yeah.
Prime.
It was
Prime. ESPN. Back to Prime.
I think it was the first 2 were Prime because I watched the first 2, and then game 3 was I think ESPN.
Was game 3 ESPN?
Yeah, because I watched that on Fubo. And
okay,
then,
that's right.
Yeah, and then game.
Then they went back to Prime.
Yeah,
and then, now ESPN, and now Prime on Sunday.
I know at
Friday.
least one of them I couldn't just watch on Prime because I had to jump through a bunch of hoops.
Yeah, so no hoop jumping for you Friday.
I'm excited.
Cavs and Raptors around 7:30. It'll be game 6. Cavaliers have been installed as a 4.5-point favorite on the road Friday night in Toronto. Okay, let me think that one over for a day or two, and I'll get back to you about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to chew on that.
Yeah. So the Cavaliers last night, again, the beginning of the game, very frustrating. And the reason that I was really frustrated because I really look, I wouldn't get on here and say what I said yesterday if I didn't really think and feel that it was going to happen. I really thought the Cavaliers would come out last night and step on their throat. I really did. I didn't. Sometimes I have to convince myself after making a prediction or prognostication or something. And I didn't do that yesterday because I felt it. You know, when you feel it, you think you know. And man, was I out of the ballpark on that. I was steaming last night at the beginning of that game. And I just kept asking myself, why? Why? I couldn't even spit the rest of the sentence out. Why? And if anybody would have saw me having this conversation with myself, probably would have looked at me and said, why are you doing this? But it was just so, the Cavs win the quarter 38-34. And that's all fine and dandy. But the way the game started, and like the electricity in the building, it usually hits a crescendo right before tip off, and then you tip the game off, and then it kind of settles a little bit for like a possession or two. And then, okay, we're into it. Let's go. And the way that game started last night, it just couldn't get out of my head that maybe this team's just not what I think it is. Maybe it's not what we thought it was. And then they go on a couple of runs, and the quarter's over, and it's a 38-34 game. And I'm like, okay, this is good in a couple of events. But I said, you know what? You just gave up 34 points to a Toronto Raptors team that, little decimated by injuries. They lost another player during the game last night, and you still gave up 34. Now, you scored 38, and you for the most part, you took pretty good care of the ball. Okay. So the second quarter rolls around, and the Raptors go on another run, and they take a 40-29 second quarter scoreboard. You give up 40 in the first quarter, or 34 in the first quarter. They gave up 40 in the second quarter. Folks, that's 77 points allowed in a first half in an NBA playoff game 5 in your building. Okay, so where are we going to go from here? Cavs outscored the Raptors 33-29 in the third. They outscored them 25-17 in the fourth. So defensively, they really played much, much better in the second half than they did the first half. The first half was abominable, okay? Just abominable. 77 given up in the first half, 46 they gave up in the third. So they sliced about 30 points off of that. And the Cavaliers were fairly steady last night with scoring at 38, 29, 33, and 25. For the game, Cavaliers shot 43 of 81 for 53%. Toronto was 44 of 94 for 46%. Three-pointers. Cavs were pretty good last night, 18 of 36. Toronto was awful, 15 of 38. Free throws last night. Okay, Cavaliers 21 of 28. That's 75%. That's acceptable. It's not great. Toronto 17 for 25. They were just a tad under 70%. We got out rebounded again last night. Don't like that. 59 to 45. Out offensive rebounded last night. Don't like that. 15 to 4. Raptors moved the ball around better last night. I don't like that. 32 to 20 on the assist. Each team had 8 steals. Each team had 8 blocks. Each team had 15 turnovers. Each team had 48 points in the paint. That's unbelievable. Toronto had 28 fast break points. The Cavs had 6. Raptors' biggest lead was 12. Cavaliers' biggest lead was 11. And you know how crazy that game was last night? That was our best bet last night, to take the Cavs and lay the 9.5. They got that 11-point lead late in the fourth quarter. I said, we're going to cover this baby. I felt pretty good about it. After all the nonsense all night long, fighting back from the double-digit leads, deficits. Cavaliers still had an 11-point lead. They had a chance to put them away. And they let Toronto kind of crawl back and get it a little bit too close for comfort. They end up winning the game 125 to 120. So still some alarming trends there. Getting out rebounded on the offensive glass. We are still not moving the ball around enough. It's a lot of hero ball, a lot of ISO ball out there.
Which is frustrating, because that was like the opposite of what they were preaching the whole regular season.
Frustrating.
All they were talking about was teamwork.
It's frustrating as hell to watch teams play ISO basketball when you have the weapons to work the ball around and get a nice shot, and you just keep chucking up threes or chucking up. It's you know what? It's not just the Cavs problem. It's an NBA problem, the ISO ball. But, the really good teams figure it out, and those teams usually go on to win championships. You got to move the ball around. You can't just stand there and dribble the damn ball. You just can't do it. You won't win the big one doing that. Cavs last night, nobody on the team. Let's see, Harden had 5 assists. He had the most of anybody on the team. The Cavs are better when they're what? Moving the ball around, making the extra pass, getting everybody involved. Nice, fluid offense, fun to watch. And, oh, by the way, you play so much better when you do that. Now, Sam, you're not going to credit Toronto's defense at all? Well, I will a little bit. But, again, Toronto's not as good as the Cavaliers are on either side of the floor.
No, they're just more aggressive.
Bingo. Bingo. Mobley, 23 points, 9 rebounds last night. Let me get to James Harden next. James Harden in 39 minutes, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block, and a foul. He had 6 more turnovers last night. That's 21 turnovers in the last 3 games. Let me do my quick parochial school math.
Yeah.
That's 7 turnovers a night. That's not
ideal.
That's not good, man. That's a veteran. That's James Harden. You can't average 7 turnovers a night over a 3-game span. Sound for alarm, yes. All right, Max Strus last night got the start in place of Dean Wade. Strus, 27 minutes of work, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Jared Allen last night, 25 minutes, 9 points, 3 rebounds. He did have 3 blocks. But to me, it wasn't an impactful 9 points in 25 minutes. What? Mitchell, 31 minutes, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. Not a bad night. Now, off the bench, Sammy Merrill, 9 points. Dennis Schroeder, ding, 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 ding. He was the guy. He was the POG last night, player of the game. 21 minutes, 19 points, 2 assists, only committed 1 foul. Without Dennis Schroeder last night, Cavaliers don't win that game. I'm not saying that he needs to. Well, he's just not. Boy, you know what? Would you think about going with a starting 5 of Mitchell, Harden, Allen, Schroeder, and Mobley? Or should we leave it like it was last night with Mitchell, Harden, Allen, Strus, and Mobley? That's a tough call to make. Schroeder's a veteran. He's got that chip on his shoulder. He'll drive to the basket. He's not afraid. Took a couple of crazy shots last night, but I'll live with that because in the 21 minutes he got me 19 points and basically won the game for me last night. So I'm not gonna poo-poo that. While I feel good about the win, I feel good about taking a 3-2 series lead. I can't sit here and look you in the eye today like I am right now. I can't look you in the eye and say, man, I really feel good about this team. We are on track. I can't. I just can't do it.
Got a couple comments. Richard says, Allen and Mobley are 8 feet tall. How do they get out-rebounded?
Soft.
Sean says, Allen has to go. Name 1 playoff game where he showed up.
I want to know why, and maybe Kenny Atkinson, who he will address this in the post game that we're going to play for you. We're also going to play a little post game from Schroeder and a little bit from Donovan Mitchell as well. I'm curious to why Jared Allen only played 25 minutes? Is it because he just isn't getting it done? Is he still bothered by that injury? So he's in a quasi minutes restriction? I guess what I'm saying is I need more in 25 minutes of work out of Jared Allen. I mean, he played a little bit over half the game. 48-minute game, he played 25 minutes. So you extrapolate those numbers out a little bit. Say he played, I don't know, 37, 38 minutes. What's that end up being? Like 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists? I don't know. I'm like this with Jared Allen. Nice guy. Some nights I think, man, this is really going to work. I'm glad we kept him. I'm glad we extended the contract. Then there's some nights I just want to say, Jarrett, if you're not interested, just go sit down on the end of the bench. And that may sound a little harsh and cruel, but man, we're trying to win a championship here. We're trying to win a series. You're trying to get by the 5th seed Toronto Raptors. I never dreamed, maybe I should have, I never dreamed that this series was going to be so difficult. Never dreamed it. Never. I thought 4-1. I thought a gentleman's sweep. And again, the Cavs will probably end up winning the series. They could probably win the series Friday. They could probably go up there, in capital letters.
Yeah, if they play like the Cavs.
And beat the Raptors by 6, 8, 10, 12 points. They could. But they probably won't. And if this game would happen to go to a 7th game, if the series happens to go to a 7th game, you know, all the cliches about, I can't talk today, all the cliches about Game 7, do we really want to go through that? Do we want to live through all that? And now you're just putting more wear and tear on your tires because you're playing extra games that you're going to wish you had those minutes back in your pocket as you move on because you screwed around. You played with your food. You sat at the kitchen table. You played with your peas and your carrots. You dumped the gravy on the floor. You screwed around. And now you got to put in max effort just to get out of the first round when you probably should have been out of there in 5. And that could catch up with them in the second round. And Lord have mercy, if they make it to the 3rd round, that may catch up to them there. But I can't get on here today and say I feel great. Nope. I feel good. I feel good they have a 3-2 series lead and can close the door on Friday. But, man, how they're going about their business. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number, 330-821-1310. Comments are coming in on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel in the chat. Get those in as well, your thoughts on last night's game. Guardians are off today. They are on their way. Well, they're probably in Sacramento already. They'll play the A's tomorrow night, Saturday and Sunday in a 3-game series. We'll see what the Guards are up to this weekend out in Northern California. The NBA has 3 Game 6s tonight. We'll get into that. We'll check in on the Mount Union baseball team. They're battling Muskingum today in a doubleheader just down the street at Rayfield Rogers Field. Big OAC ramifications on the line today. We'll check the scoreboard when we get back. The shovel is going into the ground in Berea today for the new Dome Stadium. That all begins at 5 o'clock. We should have some audio clips for you a little bit later on today. And our 3-question Thursday quiz. Question number 1 before we get to break. Who has the nicest high school baseball stadium in Stark County? This is baseball we're talking about. Nicest baseball stadium, Stark County. Which team, which school has it? Question number 2. Do you follow the daily progress at the Hall of Fame Village? Are you checking it out? Do you drive by? Do you read the stories? Do you watch the videos? Do you stay up with things? Are you following the progress at the Hall of Fame Village? And question number 3, what's the best and the worst thing about the internet? A lot of good, a lot of bad. Your opinion. What's the best and worst thing about the internet. That's our 3-question Thursday quiz. Get those comments to us on all of our social media platforms, including the 1310 WDPN Facebook page, my Facebook page, and the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. You can also text in, too. We got that up and rolling today, 330-924-7088. We'll take a break. We'll come back.
AWP Safety, North America's leading traffic safety company, wishes the best of luck to Stark County student athletes this fall, and they need you. Join AWP as a protector for steady work and an important job keeping people safe. They offer paid training, certification, referral bonuses, and advancement opportunities. To apply, visit jobs.awpsafety.com. That's jobs.awpsafety.com.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
News and weather coming up here in about a minute. Once again, the 3-question Thursday quiz today. Get those comments in. Get them in. Question number 1, who has the nicest high school baseball stadium in Stark County? Question number 2, are you following the progress now at the Hall of Fame Village? Checking it out, seeing what's going on day by day. Question number 3, what's the best and worst thing about the internet? Get those comments in on all of our social media platforms. Do want to remind you that coming up at 4:10 this afternoon, Ben Axelrod will join us. We're going to talk about a plethora of things with Ben. Cavs, Guardians, the bringing up of Travis Bazzana, the shovel going in the ground in Berea today, the Guards TV broadcast crew, NCAA going to 76 games. We're going to cover it all. Ben Axelrod, Front Office Sports, coming up at 4:10 today. News and weather next, 1310 WDPN.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. House of Representatives Wednesday passed 2 pieces of legislation to fund the federal government. In a 215 to 211 vote, the House approved a bill to start the budget reconciliation process. The filibuster-approved process being used to advance funding for immigration and customs enforcement and other immigration enforcement agencies over the opposition of Democrats. Senate approved advancing the measure April 23rd. It begins the process ordering House and Senate committees to write legislation to provide up to $70 billion for ICE and Border Patrol. House leadership has expressed the intention of keeping the bill constrained to immigration enforcement. U.S. economy registered a solid rebound in the first quarter after a disappointing end to 2025. First quarter gross domestic product growth was 2%, up from the 0.5% reading in the fourth quarter. Prior to the release, the Atlanta Federal Reserve's GDP Now model indicated growth would be around 1%. Consensus forecast suggested a 2.3% expansion. Consumer spending, net exports, and private investments contributed to the growth rate. Consumers continue to open their wallets, with spending up 1.6%. The Iranian rial hit a new record low today amid a U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. The currency remained stable during the war, but beginning Monday, demand for foreign banknotes suddenly flooded the open market. The naval blockade has prevented Iran from acquiring foreign currency through exports, leading the rial to enter a precipitous decline. The Iranian Student News Agency said the rial fell roughly 15% in 2 days, with Wednesday's exchange rate sitting at 1.81 million to every $1 US. The rial had already collapsed in value last year, losing 70% against the dollar. Currency devaluation and inflation triggered the December protests that culminated in Tehran's brutal crackdown, during which thousands of peaceful protesters were killed. The devaluation comes amid sky-high inflation, which, according to Iran's central bank, was over 65% from March 20th to April 20th. U.S. Supreme Court Wednesday struck down a majority black congressional district in Louisiana in a 6-3 ruling. The high court found the district relied on race when the congressional map was drawn up. Justice Samuel Alito, joined by Chief Justice John Roberts and Justices Thomas Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, Alito wrote, allowing race to play any part in government decision-making represents a departure from the constitutional rule that applies in almost every other context. President Trump said Wednesday the U.S. reviewing a possible reduction of U.S. troops stationed in Germany. It had 36,436 active duty troops there in December. It was second only to Japan with its just over 54,000 active duty U.S. troops. U.S. soldiers have been in Germany since American forces occupied the country after World War II. There were an estimated 250,000 U.S. troops in Germany at its peak during the 40-year Cold War. The president criticized Germany for failing to meet NATO's spending benchmark of 2% of gross domestic product, saying it had been delinquent for years and owed billions in underfunding. 51 degrees at 3:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A cooler weather afternoon, more than we're used to. A high near 59 degrees, some scattered rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, a little sunshine in between. Overnight will continue an isolated rain shower threat, a lot of clouds hanging around, and a chilly low near 40. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Welcome back to the show. Coming up a little bit later on today, 429, Sammy B's Best Bet. Well, we got some work to do there. We dropped another one last night. We're on a little 2-bet skid. Got to turn it around tonight. All right. 529 on this day in sports history. And, of course, we have our 3-question Thursday quiz. Get those comments in. We'll work them into the show. Question 1, who has the nicest high school baseball stadium in Stark County, in your opinion? Question number 2, do you follow the progress that's going on at the Hall of Fame Village? Like what you're seeing? Question number 3, best and worst thing about the internet? That's our 3-question Thursday quiz. Get those comments into us any way that you like. All right, college baseball, final score, game 1 of the doubleheader today. OAC battle, Mount Union beats Muskingum, Purple Raiders 12, and the Muskies 5. Okay, Purple Raiders 12, Muskingum 5. That will make the Purple Raiders 29-8 on the season, and they will start game 2 of that doubleheader coming up here in about 15 minutes. So if you win another one today, you'll get to 30-8, and that should be good enough to take the regular season title in the OAC. Not 100% sure on that, but I think one more win should do it. And I think today's the final regular season game in the conference. I think they have one non-conference game coming up, and then we get ready for the OAC postseason tournament, and I believe that starts on May the 7th. Because what's today, Rainsburg? Today the 30th?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the OAC conference tournament would start on May the 7th, and it looks like Mount will be hosting.
Oh, cool.
And that would be, the 7th would be a what?
Thursday, I think.
Thursday.
Yeah, because tomorrow is the 1st, so next Thursday.
So as soon as we figure everything out and get all the, the brackets and the times and everything, we'll shoot all that information out to you here on the show, and of course our social media platforms, of course 1310 WDPN. So congrats to Coach Hesse and the Raiders, 12-5 winners over Muskingum today. Game 2 of that big doubleheader coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes over at Rayfeld Rogers Field. All right, Cavaliers a winner last night. I opened the program today. Didn't feel great. They got the win. Okay. I'm more of a big picture guy. You know what I mean? Looking forward. And I see too many things that it sets the flag off. It sets the alarm off on me. And it's the standing around on offense. It's the non-assisted baskets throughout the game. Getting rebounded on the offensive glass is a sin in the playoffs, and just getting out rebounded like they are is just not good either. So I don't know. It's just frustrating. And again, I say this after a win, right? 125-120 last night at home. But boy, if it wasn't for Dennis Schroeder, I don't know if the Cavaliers would be up 3-2 right now. I got a couple of player interviews we're going to play for you. They're really quick. First one, we're going to go in order here because Dennis Schroeder had nice things to say about Donovan. So first we'll go Donovan Mitchell first, his post game after the win for the Cavaliers last night, and then I'll walk you into the comments by Dennis Schroeder. So let's start it off with Spida.
To me, that's selfish. Like I said, Joe, I've done this at a high level in the playoffs. I've scored a lot of points, but to me, I could score 0. And if we win the game, we advance. Excuse my language, I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? I'm getting solid looks. I'm going to take those shots. My biggest thing is, can I rebound? Can I make the right plays? Can I be in the gaps? You know what I mean? That's what matters most to me. I think that's for everybody else to kind of be like, oh, here comes a big game. I don't care. And I care, but what I'm saying is what matters most is winning the game. And, I'll take a night like this for myself when it was solid, you know what I mean? And as long as we're winning games, who cares, right? This is about the group. This isn't about just the Donovan big game show. You know what I mean? We've been there before. This is about how can we win as a group? How can I help the team win? Whether it's 19, it's 0, it's 50, whatever it takes. And if I think that way, I feel like that's selfish, and that's not trying to help the group as a whole.
So there's Donovan Mitchell last night, and I guess there was a point in the game last night, and I know Kenny Atkinson addressed it. There was a point in the game last night, I think it was in the fourth quarter, maybe it'd been around the 5 or 6 minute mark. Cavaliers they're doing okay. They were kind of rebuilding that lead up a little bit. And I guess Kenny went down the bench, and he pointed to Donovan and Mobley. I think that was the other player. And he said, all right, guys, I want you to go back in there. And Mitchell says, nah, the guys out there now are on a roll. Just leave them out there. Okay. So they didn't put him out there. Raptors come down the floor the next trip, get a basket, and then Atkinson says, all right, you guys are going back in. And they went back in. And I read this a couple of ways. First of all, very unselfish of Donovan Mitchell. He realized what was going on the floor. Things were going well. The gang that was out there was playing well together. They were, keeping the lead as is or maybe increasing it a little bit. And he felt like, if you put a couple guys in now, you're maybe kind of screwing with the rhythm a little bit. Let's just kind of leave it alone. Okay, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, man, don't you want to go in there and be the guy or be one of the main guys and finish the deal? You want to be out there, put the ball in your hand. You're the leader of this team. You're one of the leaders of the team. And you didn't want to go out there because you just felt that the other guys were doing okay. Am I reading too much into that? It's almost like I feel, thank you. It's almost like I felt that Donovan, maybe he didn't want to go back in the game last night. And again, I know that the 5 on the floor were doing well, but it wasn't like they built a 20-point lead. It was still hovering a little bit. But I think it's because they came back from the double-digit deficit that maybe he thought, you know what, let's leave the guys out there that are out there. I don't want to go in there. We don't want to go in there and screw up the rhythm. Let's just leave it be. Am I making too much of that? Or is there something to that? Maybe things were getting a little tight. Things were getting a little close. And he didn't want to go in and take the bull by the horns and finish the deal.
I don't know. I believe in the system of momentum, and
I do too.
Having, your head in the game and
I do too.
There for it. So, I mean, if I'm looking at what looks like good momentum, I wouldn't want to screw that up either. Because that could be, what's winning the game at the moment.
But as a competitor, I want to be on the floor.
That too.
And for him not to want to go out there, again, if I'm making too much of it, then I am, and I'll eat the crow. But I want to be out there. I want my team leader to be. When my coach looks at me and says, you, I want you to get back in there. All right, coach, I'm taking my warm-ups off. I'm going to the scorer's table, and I can't wait for the next dead ball so I can get back out on that floor and finish the deal. I didn't see that from Donovan Mitchell. Again, if I'm making too much of it, so be it.
I don't know. Purple suit, definitely not a Donovan Mitchell fan. He says, Spida sounds like a loser Gen Z kid. Get rid of him. He says, why try hard when you have your fashion set up for the post game? Instagram and TikTok will go nuts.
I just kind of think that as a leader, you need to
Yeah, that's one thing. It would even be one thing if James Harden said something like that, but you're Donovan Mitchell.
As the leader of the team, I'm not, me personally, at that point of the game, you've had a rest. I'm going up to my coach and saying, Coach, I want to go back in. That's just me. That's me. I'm going to him and saying, put me back in. I'm rested. I want to go out there and finish this thing off. Not only did that not happen, he denied the request to go back into the game with the 4 or 5 minute mark with a lead. I don't know. Dennis Schroeder played well last night. He got 19 points, and he was one of the guys on the floor last night when things were going well for the Cavaliers. So mad props to Dennis Schroeder. Here are his thoughts after the 125-120 Cavalier win last night in Game 5 against Toronto.
When did you feel like you really had it going there in the fourth quarter in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to be aggressive. We were speaking at halftime, making sure that we, play Cavs basketball, and I think I just, try to come out and bring the energy, try to help as much as I can to get the W.
Chris. Hey, Dennis. Donovan mentioned that speech that you gave at halftime, talking to the guys about that. What were you seeing in that moment that made you believe this is my time to speak up?
I mean, game 5. You need to win this game, so it's all about momentum. They had the momentum going into Game 5 because they won 2 in a row. And yeah, we played in front of our fans, and we didn't play how we should play. And I felt like I had to say something, to the group so we can rise and go, play Cav basketball and play to our standards. And that's what we did, I think, in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter as well. And we just got to keep getting better at it. And game by game, try to get better.
What specifically did you say?
I mean, I just want to see Cavs basketball how we played when we first got here, and we did a great job even throughout this season when we first got here. But I think we got a little bit away from that, and we need the big guys. I mean, J.A. and Evan Mobley are the key to our team because we got 2 superstars. With Don and with Uno. But those 2 big men, they want, top bigs in the league, so we got to use them. And just to keep our success.
And you're
Dennis Schroeder after the game last night. Cavaliers over the Raptors 125-120. 19 points for Schroeder. I told you when the Cavaliers made that trade with Sacramento, and it seemed kind of like a kind of deal when they picked up Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. Although Keon Ellis has kind of fallen off the face of the earth here lately, not getting in any games at all. Not sure what's going on there. But anyhow, when that trade was made, I perked up because I knew that Schroeder was going to bring a little bit of a tough dog mentality to this club, something that we desperately needed, and he has addressed that. I wish they had more like him, but I was excited about that deal. That was kind of one of those, it wasn't really an under-the-radar deal, but it was, it wasn't grabbing the big attention that some of the other trades were being made and announced and talked about around the NBA trade deadline. So I love the fact that they got him. And it proved the proof was in the pudding last night. Helped the Cavaliers come back and get that win and take the series lead now. And now it's back to Toronto, a place where just a couple of days ago, you lost 2 games. One was low scoring. What was it, 93-89 was one score?
Oh, God, yeah, that one was real bad.
Like, that was the game where the halftime score was 38-36.
Yeah, that was the second game they lost.
Nobody could make a shot. Nobody could do anything. So you're going back in there now, and you got to refocus. You got to reset. You got to go in there and figure out a way to rebound the ball. You got to figure out a way to get offensive rebounds, and you got to figure out a way how to stay out of hero ball. Stay out of the ISO, dribble, 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 hold the ball, look for help, look some more, shoot the 3. It's not a good recipe on offense, never has been, never will be. Look at the good teams. Look at the great teams. They move the ball around, constantly in motion. Pick and roll, setting screens, pick and pop, double screens. Whatever it takes, stay in motion. Don't be so predictable. When you become predictable on offense, when you become lazy on offense, you know how much easier that makes it for the defensive team on that end of the floor? They don't have to exert as much energy. They can keep some of that juice in the tank for later on in the game. You don't need to switch up on anybody. You don't need to worry about ball screens. You don't need to worry about anything if the other guys are standing around just dribbling the ball or constantly coming down. What's the NBA famous for? You come down from the other end of the floor, and the guy with the ball is up going like this, waving everybody away, waving, get out of my way. Go. If I'm dribbling on the left side of the floor, you all go to the right. Well, we know what's coming now. We know you're going to hold on to the ball for the rest of the shot clock. Now, it's different if you're Michael or Kobe or some others. They can get away with that kind of stuff. But most of the guys in the NBA, when they clear out and, maybe a guy like Kate Cunningham or Wemby, not our guys. We need ball movement. We need assists. We need sharp passes. We need rhythm. When we're in rhythm, we feel good. We're in good moods. We relax. We play better. And good things happen. But there's this ridiculous disconnect that we can't get from ISO ball to how the game of basketball was supposed to be played when you have the ball in your hands. And I don't know what it's going to take to move that needle over to where it's supposed to be. Here's a crazy idea. Put pressure on the team's defense. Put pressure on them. Make them react. Make them go under screens. Make them body up. Make them run around a little bit. Put the pressure on them. Tire them out. Guess what teams do when they get tired? What do? They foul.
They get sloppy.
They don't play basketball with their legs. They play with their arms. And they're late. They're sloppy. They commit fouls. Gives you opportunities to score. I don't know why we're so allergic to that. It's just kind of a pattern. It's what the Cavaliers do. Now, the one thing that can remedy all that is shooting the heck out of the ball from three-point range, which they did last night.
Well, they love doing that.
Yeah, but they fall in love with it too. And
Exactly.
You can't do that all the time. You can't fall in love. The old another cliche, man. Live by the three, die by the three. You can't keep doing that.
We got a comment here from Dong Bobbler that I never thought I would wholeheartedly agree with something he said, but he says Dennis Schroeder better be the voice of the Cavs going forward. Call out those soft multimillionaire guys.
Well, he'll get into your face.
Yeah.
He will. I've seen it.
I really like what he said in the middle there, too, where they asked him, what'd you say to get everybody amped up? And he simply said, why aren't we playing Cavs ball? Why aren't we passing the ball?
Right.
He knows what the issue is.
He knows. And he's only
aware.
been here for 1 year.
Exactly. That was what I was going to say. Hasn't even been here that long and gets it.
I mean, yeah, Dennis Schroeder's played for 11 teams.
That, too. He's got the experience.
13 or 14 or 15 years. But you know what? That's experience.
Use that.
That's chippiness. That's veteran leadership. Use it. Use him. Let him. Okay? Listen to him. He knows what he's doing. You never, hey, look what happened last night. You might need that again. 3:54 is our time. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. Text line is open, 330-924-708. If you are watching and listening to us, we really appreciate that. And if you're doing so on our social media platforms, including the Q92 Radio YouTube channel, we got the chat room open there. You can slide your comments that way as well. We'll step away, come back with more of the Sam Bourquin Show on a Wednesday on 1310.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
Well, Rainsburg, you're taking me down memory lane here. You have no idea, so I'm going to tell you. That was my show open.
No, really?
When I worked at the Canton station.
That's cool.
For years. That's how we would open up the show. Oh, wow. Jeez Louise. Got to make sure I say the right call.
That's a funny way to start the show.
Rest of the way.
That doesn't surprise me at all. No, I know you're a Def Leppard fan.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things that you know what it was like? It was like the music we use for On This Day in Sports History. Did it once. We did it once and said,
that works.
That works. And that's just kind of how it went. A couple of minutes before we get to the bottom of the hour, or I should say top of the hour, with the news and weather. 3-question Thursday quiz. Question 1, who has the nicest high school baseball stadium in Stark County? Question number 2, are you following the progress that's being made at the Hall of Fame Village? Question number 3, what's the best and worst thing about the internet? Bart checking in says, Munson, best high school stadium. About the progress at the Village. Oh, jeez. Bart. He says, the best is the ease of doing research. Worst is having to go to multiple sources to make sure the answers you got are accurate. Sue Manny checking in today. Her baseball stadiums are as follows: Munson, Maslin, Louisville, Hoover, Alliance. She says she loves them all. She follows the progress of the Hall of Fame Village off and on. Best about the internet, news, and human beings. The worst, ads and the fake reels. The future mayor of the city of Canton, R.J. Van Allman, checking in today, says Thurman Munson is the best stadium around. Yes, he follows the progress of the Hall of Fame Village. He does not like the negativity that comes with the internet.
Bobler cracked me up on this one. Munson is his favorite stadium. He says, what progress?
Oh.
And the best thing about the internet, I'm not going to worry about that. And the worst thing about the internet is commenters on radio shows. So at least Dong Bobbler is self-aware.
Oh, so he's talking about himself.
Yeah, he said the worst thing about the internet is commenters on radio shows.
Oh.
So
I was going to say, maybe he was talking about me.
No,
because I comment. I comment on a radio show all day. 3 hours a day.
You do the radio show. People just comment on it.
Oh.
Yeah, you're the host. You're not the commenter.
All right.
You're doing a commentary, but that's a
different animal.
Different terminology.
One more here. Kelly Harris checking in, says McKinley's got the best baseball stadium. She does not pay attention to the Hall of Fame Village progress, and she says the worst thing about the internet is false information. Keep those comments coming in, all of our social media platforms, and we will certainly work your comments in through the show throughout the afternoon. Right now, it's time for the news and the weather. 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump at the White House signing an executive order to extend retirement accounts to workers without company benefits.
I'm thrilled to sign a historic executive order expanding access to high-quality retirement savings accounts for millions of Americans.
The president directing the Treasury to create an avenue to sign up for those retirement programs. After 76 days of the partial government shutdown, House Republicans narrowly passed the Senate-backed DHS funding bill. The president expected to sign it today. It's been 2 months since the U.S. began attacks on Iran. President Trump says he thinks Iran wants to make a deal to end the war, but Iran's supreme leader in a message says Iran will never give up its nuclear ambitions. Tomorrow, the Trump administration is facing the 60-day statutory deadline under the War Powers Resolution to end the conflict or seek congressional authorization for the war. A White House official says there are active conversations about getting authorization. This is ABC News.
Progressive knows that for business owners, vacations hit different. But hey, at least you finally took a vacation. And look at that. You only answered 53 calls, 84 emails, onboarded 1 new hire, and covered for Chris while he's out on paternity leave, and you did it all from a kayak. Because you, my friend, know how to relax. All right, you may not know how to take a day off, but you do know both your personal and business auto insurance needs can be covered in one place with Progressive. So at least that's relaxing, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Clint Marshall on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. A man indicted for the crash that killed a Canton police officer, 34-year-old Garth Haynes, charged with vehicular manslaughter and 2 other misdemeanors. 47-year-old Dave Wolgamott of Dover was killed November 10th when his vehicle collided with Haynes' pickup in the 800 block of Cherry Avenue Southeast. Police say the pickup spun on an icy road into the path of Wolgamott's vehicle, which hit the pickup on its passenger side. Grand jury handed down the indictment Wednesday. The case will be heard in Canton Municipal Court. Former Louisville City Council member facing a misdemeanor charge in Akron. 38-year-old Micah Mills has pleaded not guilty to menacing by stalking, accused of harassing her ex-husband's girlfriend. 52-year-old woman told Akron police Mills repeatedly called and texted her. Doorbell camera footage allegedly shows Mills visiting the home 6 times. Mills resigned from council February 17th, with her attorney saying the decision was tied to the criminal case. She's free on $10,000 bond with GPS monitoring. Pretrial hearing set for May 20th with a visiting judge appointed to hear the case. A dispute brewing over an investigation into the fiscal office in Perry Township. The repository reports fiscal officer Craig Chesler is refusing to authorize a $10,000 payment to Alliance attorney Julie Jackmedes, who was hired in September. A letter sent last week by Chesler's attorney argues the township acted unlawfully in retaining Jackmedes and says public funds should not be used to pay for the investigation. Chesler claims the investigation was retaliation for criticism of trustees' spending decisions last year. Results of the review have not been presented. Diebold at Nixdorf reporting strong first quarter results. The North Canton-based maker of ATMs and security systems says revenue was about $892 million, up 6% from a year ago. Adjusted earnings increased to 67 cents per share. Free cash flow more than tripled year over year, marking 6 straight quarters of positive cash generation. President and CEO Octavio Marquez says the company saw a strong execution and continued momentum, says it remains confident in its full-year outlook. Canton Parks and Recreation marking the grand reopening of the historic Timken Gatehouse in Stadium Park. Ceremony was held this morning. The building, constructed in 1911, once served as an entrance to the Timken Mansion and housing for estate and hospital workers. Following a $600,000 restoration, the gatehouse will now be used for small weddings, family gatherings, and community events. Cleveland man facing sentencing after pleading guilty in a deadly crash in Streetsboro more than 2 years ago. 35-year-old Devontae Anthony admitted Monday in Portage County Court to aggravated vehicular homicide. Prosecutors say Anthony crossed the center line in Route 43 in March 2024 and struck an oncoming car, killing 63-year-old George Shiner of Kent. Investigators say speed and reckless passing played a role in the collision. Driver is cited with failure to yield after Monday afternoon's fiery 2-vehicle crash in Lisbon. Police say a work truck driven by 51-year-old Michael Stouffer of Salem turned into the path of an oncoming vehicle at South Lincoln Avenue and West Lincoln Way. Both vehicles caught fire. The second vehicle's driver was pulled from the burning vehicle. Stouffer and a passenger were not hurt. The other drivers suffered minor injuries. Man appealing the dismissal of his lawsuit over the Penn, Ohio landfill. Dennis Wallace of East Palestine filed an appeal with the 7th District Court, challenging a Columbiana County judge's decision to throw his case out and deny reconsideration. Wallace claimed the landfill and state environmental officials used fraud and misinformation that led to the destruction of an historic mound system. Judge Megan Bickerton ruled the complaint failed to state a valid claim. 3 civil rights lawsuits are moving towards settlement against Ursuline High School in the Catholic Diocese of Youngstown. A federal judge has marked the cases as settled and dismissed without prejudice, meaning they could be reopened if terms are not met. Suits filed between September and November 2025 allege racial harassment, hazing, and physical assault involving members of the school's football program, as well as claims of retaliation and unequal discipline. Court records show mediation led to agreements with multiple defendants, while final closure depends on probate court approval. Body found inside an Austintown home now under investigation. After a welfare check earlier this week, police say officers were called Sunday to a home on South Raccoon Road for a report involving a 17-year-old girl. They found a bedroom door taped shut and discovered a body inside that could have been there for about a month. No charges have been filed. Mahoning County jury has found a Youngstown man guilty of felonious assault. 62-year-old Marcus Cobb convicted Wednesday for attacking a neighbor during a yard work dispute last June. Jurors found him not guilty on a second count. A judge earlier revoked his bond. Sentencing has not been set. 52 degrees at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
A cooler weather afternoon, more than we're used to. A high near 59 degrees, some scattered rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, a little sunshine in between. Overnight will continue an isolated rain shower threat, a lot of clouds hanging around, and a chilly low near 40. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball!
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Murray boils the basket. Final shot to Cleveland. Mitchell, 30-footer. Oh, yeah! What a close to the first quarter for the Cavaliers. Mitchell, no look! Mobley with the finish. Here since halftime.
No, they haven't. They've leveled off a little bit. Well, when you're shooting 60-some%, you have to level off.
How about Mobley with another triple? 6 to shoot. Cunningham shake and bake. Cunningham fires. Oh, yeah! Ozzie takes off. Van Olsen drills it towards the gap. It is gone! Truest magic tonight. A walk-off winner for Olsen.
Clock, 20 seconds left on this Utah power play. Vegas off ice, an aggressive stance. Steal by Howden. Scores!
Another big night of sports yesterday and last night. We got you covered on the diamond, the hardwood, the hockey rink. It feels like the Guardians haven't played for like 2 days, although they did play yesterday because they were done, at like 5 o'clock because they didn't play last night. They're on their way to Sacramento. Series with the first place Athletics Friday, Saturday, and Sunday out in Sacramento. Cavaliers picked up a big win last night. Now they go back to Toronto for Game 6 on Friday night. 7:30 the tip. Amazon Prime is the place to watch it. Cavaliers a 125-121 last night over the Toronto Raptors. Coming up here in about an hour or so, they're going to put the shovel in the ground in Berea, the site of the new Cleveland Browns stadium. And we'll keep our eyes on that when they get rolling out there in about 45 minutes or so. We'll update the Major League Baseball scoreboard for you as well. We'll get you back into the 3-question Thursday quiz. Also, coming up today, 4:29, Sammy B's Best Bet, 5:29, again, on this day in sports history. So lots going on today, tonight, and the rest of the week. Keep it right here, 1310 WDPN, and, of course, all of our social media platforms, including the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. All right, it is time to visit with Ben Axelrod from Front Office Sports. Wanted to have Ben on today. I've got a buffet of things I want to talk to him about. Ben, welcome back to the show. How are we doing this afternoon, partner?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back here.
You got it, man. Hopefully, no Diana Russini news breaking today while we're on the show. So lots that I want to get to. I guess we'll start with the Cavs, then we'll kind of work our way. A 5-point win last night. They gave up a ton of points in the first half, 77 to be exact. They did come back to get the win. I feel good. I don't feel great going into Game 6. Where are you at?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I would not be surprised at all if the Cavs close this out on the road here on Friday. I think even though they dropped the 2 in Toronto, especially in Game 4 on Sunday, they were really cruising until they just collapsed in that final minute down the stretch. So I think the Cavs have been the better team in this series, aside from a few stretches, 2 of which cost them 2 games to even it up before the Cavs took Game 5. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Cavs were able to close this out on the road and move on to the next round. But I also think you look at the way this series has gone, it looks like a 7-game series. I mean, I remember in 2018 in the first round, they played Indiana. We're in a similar boat. They headed down to Indianapolis up 3-2 with a chance to close out the series and got blown off the floor by the Pacers, came back and won a Game 7 in Cleveland. I think a similar setup, a Friday to a Sunday. So I think, I think this is probably going 7, but I also think the Cavs look like the better team. And I think they're going to win this series. It's just a matter of, do they get it done in 6 games or 7?
Obviously, after a 19-point performance last night, everybody's pointing to Dennis Schroeder, but man alive, he kind of saved their bacon last night. What are your thoughts on Schroeder's game? I thought this was a very underrated move at the deadline when they got he and Ellis from Sacramento. I thought, you know what? This guy brings a little chip. He brings a little dog to this team. Boy, they needed it last night, didn't they?
Yeah, I think on the court and off the court, this is an older Cavs team now at this point, but they really don't have that, strong veteran presence the way they even did the last couple of years with Tristan Thompson. Probably the closest thing they have to that would be Larry Nance Jr. in terms of like an elder statesman on the team. And, Donovan Mitchell is the leader of this team. Jared Allen is plenty experienced. Evan Mobley's in year 5 now. And this is all before they traded for James Harden. But adding Schroeder, adding a guy who's been through these battles, adding a guy who, plays a different role. It's not like Harden where his leadership is mostly going to come in the form of how he plays. I mean, Schroeder's a guy who can speak up, and we heard about him doing that at halftime of last night's game. And then for him to also contribute on the court in a game where it was obviously much needed from him, I think it only adds to that element of what he provides to this Cavs team.
Ben Axelrod is our guest. Check him out, Front Office Sports, and all of your favorite social media platforms. One thing that's kind of still alarming to me, Ben, James Harden now, 21 turnovers in the last 3 games. Is this a phase, or are we going to have to worry about this moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a couple of things. I think one, Toronto's just kind of a tough matchup. They're a very physical team. I think there have been some turnovers that they probably go under Harden's name that don't necessarily belong to him if you were to look at who was truly at fault. And I think Toronto's just, they're so long, they're so rangy, they're so physical in the backcourt that I think some of it's a result of the matchup. I think some of it's a result of how much James Harden has had on his plate, and especially with Donovan Mitchell, playing pretty substandard for what we're used to from Donovan Mitchell. I think a lot of it has fallen to James Harden, which has led to a higher usage rate on his end. And I think the reality is he just has the ball in his hands a lot. And then some of it is, James Harden can be a turnover-prone guy, especially in the playoffs. So I think you add it all up, and I think that's why you kind of land at what looks like a pretty alarming number from a guy who really has been one of the more consistent Cavs since they acquired him at the trade deadline.
Ben, what do you make of Kenny Atkinson's moves and rotations in this series?
I think that this is a Cavs team. They are so deep and so versatile that some of it, I think, is natural. I think they wanted to go in there. They wanted to start Dean Wade. I think you saw that pay off in the first 2 games, but then you look at the way Toronto was able to bounce back in games 3 and 4. It's understandable that he would look to make a change in the starting lineup. And I think Max Strus, stands out as that other natural fifth guy to play alongside the 4 stars and Harden, Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen. And so, I mean, I think that you could look at the Cavs. I don't think, assuming they win this series and they head into what will probably be another long series in the second round and potentially the third round and beyond, I don't think this would be the final change the Cavs make to their starting lineup. I think they have that many options, and, some of it's also going to be matchup dependent as well.
Yeah, I would agree 100% there. But so we speak of this next series that we hope will happen, and we think that it will. But who's it going to be against? We don't know. Preference either way from the Cavaliers standpoint. I mean, Orlando's kind of an up-and-comer. They're tough. They got Pablo Banchero. Then you got the Pistons with Cunningham. But, I mean, who knows who they're going to face? What would be a better matchup, do you think, for the Cavs?
I think Orlando would be the better matchup. I mean, for all its warts that they've had in the last couple of weeks, Detroit still is the number 1 seed. So I think just on the surface, you have the number 1 seed. You have a team that had to earn the number 8 seed via the play-in tournament. I'd rather play the number 8 seed, but Orlando's been pretty, obviously very impressive in this series. It would not be a shock at all if they wind up playing Orlando. I also think the Franz Wagner injury really kind of, he's so important to the Magic that if they're able to survive this series, but that calf injury is still lingering, I think that makes them a much more preferable matchup. And I mean, this is a Magic team that 2 weeks ago had to beat Charlotte in the second round of the play-in tournament just to qualify. I mean, they were on the brink of elimination before the real playoffs even began. So having said all that, though, if the Cavs play Detroit, I think Detroit is also a pretty favorable matchup for the Cavs. And I think, the Cavs will be favored regardless of who they play in the next series. But it's definitely an interesting dynamic where you have the 1 seed and the 8 seed. And I think you could really make a case in terms of them being pretty evenly matched as far as how the Cavs match up with them in the potential next round.
All right. Well, we got 3 game 6s tonight. Knicks, Hawks, Celtics, Sixers, Nuggets, Timberwolves. Ben, do you see anybody closing it out tonight?
I think the Celtics should close it out. I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't. I think that they are the best bet to close out the series tonight. And I think that, I was stunned they lost the other night, but I do think this Celtics team I mean, they're the favorites in the East right now, but I think this is a Celtics team that has a lot of warts. And even this series against the Sixers, who also had to earn their way in through the play-in tournament, I think that says a lot.
It's like Ben might have muted himself.
Okay.
We can't hear you, Ben.
All right. Not sure.
No, he's still there.
Yeah, because I'm behind on the video, so I'm still watching him, even though he may not. Benny, you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, there we go.
You got you. You're good right there. Okay.
Okay.
So I think I agree with you there too. I think the Celtics win tonight. The other 2 series, I think, may go to a possible game 7. All right, let's roll from the NBA and just talk about the guards for a minute. Gavin Williams looked incredible yesterday. Travis Bazana's got a couple of games under his belt. Early returns on Travis. He almost got one out of the yard, but the wind kind of held it up. But what do you make of his game at the MLB level early on?
Yeah, I mean, he got on base that first game, a couple of walks, one of which came with a chance for what would have been a potential walk-off home run in the 9th inning against Tampa Bay, and they wound up just intentionally walking him. He had that deep shot yesterday. I think he's a very cerebral hitter. I think he's a very patient hitter. It doesn't necessarily shock me. We're 2 games in, so who knows how this all could look by the end of this weekend. But I think he might take some time to find his place. I don't think he's necessarily a guy who's going to come up and be on a tear. And you even look at what his numbers were in Columbus this season, and he wasn't on fire the way the Guardians have brought up some of their other top prospects, but he's a really good prospect. He's a very cerebral hitter. I think he's going to find his footing, and I think, the timing of bringing him up, and for a team that obviously needs all the help that they can get on offense, I think it kind of signals that they're committed to this, that this isn't going to be an up and down type of thing. He is their second baseman moving forward. And like I said, 2 games in, but I think the early returns have been promising.
I like it. I think once you bring these kids up, I want them to like Chase DeLauder, Travis Mazzana, let them go. Just let the kids go out there and let them play. Now, I see they just sent Valera down earlier today. I'm waiting on another roster move there. I feel like I've been killing Bo Naylor all week, but he's betting 120 something. Ben, how much longer do we go there?
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's the numbers are what they are. I know they have some advanced metrics they like his approach and all that, but the numbers are what they are. And the flip side of that is Austin Hedges has quietly been one of the Guardians' more consistent hitters this season, which might say more about the state of the Guardians than it does anything else. But yeah, it's not good. And it's, for a team that needs all the help they can get on when it comes to offense to have that, hole in the middle of your lineup, which Bo Naylor has provided. And it's not like, there's a strong sample that would indicate that this is an aberration. I mean, this is largely who Bo Naylor has been as a hitter since the Guardians first called him up a few years back. So, yeah, it's tough. It's frustrating. Obviously, they like his defense and all that. But at a certain point, you have to start hitting at a major league level. And Bo Naylor is not doing that at this moment.
Ben Axelrod is our guest. Check him out. Front Office Sports. That's Front Office Sports on your social media platforms. Check them out. I thought you may have some insight here, so I'm just going to kind of throw this at you. A lot of people have been asking me, hey, what's going on in the broadcast booth with the Guardians? With MLB taking over 12 or 13 teams, they're kind of tinkering with the broadcasters and making moves and shaking things up a little bit. Any insight to what's going on with Matty, Rick, and Andre? And are they going to continue to do this the rest of the year? And what can Indians fans expect when they tune in to watch?
Yeah, I don't know the reasoning for it. All I know at this point is they are going to be on fewer games. It seems like they've kind of split it up home and away, where Matt and Rick and Andre call the home games, and then they have Al Pulowski and either Ben Broussard or they kind of have a stable of ex Guardians / Indians players who they've been using as analysts on the road. I don't know the reasoning. I mean, you would think if it was a cost cutting thing that, you would want fewer talents instead of more talents as a part. So I don't know what the goal is. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with it, but it does seem like they are moving to this model where you have a home team and a road team as far as the broadcasts are concerned. So nobody's spoken out. Nobody's really explained it. I looked into it, haven't been able to get a strong answer, but yeah, it definitely, as MLB takes over these broadcasts and these broadcasts become more centralized throughout the league, they clearly have some sort of model they like to lean on. And this is just kind of where the Guardians has landed a month into the season.
And kind of to piggyback off of this, but take it to the Cavaliers with the FanDuel model going away. Any news there on where Cavs fans next year will be able to tune in to watch the majority of their games?
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar. I think the NBA is going to wind up taking control of the Cavs' rights. Obviously, the Cavs have experimented with doing their own streaming service, the Rock Sports streaming service, which obviously involves Cavs ownership. So, I mean, they do have an option to go independent, which we have seen some teams do, and to varying degrees of success. But I think ultimately the NBA, just like MLB, would like to get all these rights under their control, be able to lease them out to an Amazon, to an ESPN, to somebody who can carry these rights, and it becomes another media rights package for the Cavs. And then there's this Main Street Sports Group who the Cavs were previously with that just won't die. There was a story today about them getting revived and potentially targeting NHL and NBA teams to revive the service, even though it just went under, and seemingly this seemed like it was the final nail in the coffin, but it looks like they're at least have a lifeline at this point. So very much TBD, but yeah, I think it's going to wind up being in one way or another a similar outlook to what the Guardians have experienced these last couple of years.
This might be a crazy question, but I almost feel like I have to ask it. Is there any way possible, do you see down the road, sooner or later, that after all that everybody has been through with broadcast and games and cable outlets and streaming services, is there any way that after all this we kind of come full circle and teams start going back to just over-the-air TV? And I mean, I'm not saying like Indians back on Channel 43 again, but maybe something along those lines and everybody can win, or is that just a crazy far-fetched thought?
I think it's a team by team thing. Like I said, there are some teams who have done that. The Phoenix Suns have done that, and for all the hits that the Suns ownership has taken under Matt Ishbia since he bought the franchise, including the Kevin Durant trade and all that, like he's won a lot of fans by putting the games on free over the air television. And so I do think that I don't know how sustainable that is team to team, but I do think, teams could find, like, if it's that, or you're producing it yourself and you're just incurring the losses there, like, you're better off striking a deal as opposed to no deal. So I do think it's like, it's not a crazy idea, but I think it's going to be easier said than done, because I do think the leagues ultimately want to get these rights all under their control. I think they want to sell them out to the streamers and have you purchase your season pass that way. But I do think until that comes to fruition, because again, you have to get all 30 teams under the same roof at that point. Right. Until that comes to fruition, like, I think that's probably one of the more viable solutions, as opposed to, taking this under your own streaming service and having to deal with everything that comes along with operating a service as complicated as that.
One more quick one, we'll let you go. Ben Axelrod, our guest again today. We appreciate Ben coming on. Check him out at Front Office Sports. Yesterday, the day before, the news coming out about the NCAA basketball tournament, a cinch deal at this point. They're going to go to 76 teams now for the tournament. What are your thoughts there?
I think it was inevitable. I think, you could see the way. I was almost surprised they stayed at 68 for as long as they did. I was surprised that they only expanded to 76, which really is a pretty, when you factor in the matchups, pretty minor expansion, even though it is a full 8 teams. It's only going to be a couple more games. It does seem like the big loser in this, unfortunately, is going to be Dayton, because this is really going to kind of shift the way that the first 4 works. And I don't know how viable that's going to be moving forward. But ultimately, this is a TV product. The idea of creating more TV inventory and being able to sell that was always going to be too appealing to the NCAA and CBS/Turner to turn down. So ultimately, I think it was a matter of not if, but when. And it looks like when is here, and it's going to be in the form of an expansion to 76 teams.
Ben Axelrod, our guest. Ben, always appreciate the visit. Thanks for all the knowledge. We'll catch up with you down the road, and enjoy the rest of the week coming up.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Ben Axelrod, Front Office Sports. Give him a follow. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was. See, what I had, maybe I read it wrong. I was under the understanding that some of the games were going to stay in Dayton, the play-in games, and then they would pick another site, on the west of the Mississippi, to hold another group of play-in games. I don't know. I sure hope Dayton doesn't lose out on their ability to host games. I think they've done a heck of a job. It looks like pretty much every seat is filled, every game they've played there for the play-in. But that was a little bit of news there, and hopefully that stays in Dayton, but at this point, who knows? All right, we're going to take a break. We got the news and weather coming up here on 1310 WDPN. When we get back after the break, we'll get back into the Cavs and Raptors a little bit. They're going to put a shovel in the ground up at Brook Park in about 35 minutes, like the official shovel, when they start to build the brand new Huntington Bank Stadium for the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about that. We got some great audio from Kenny Atkinson coming your way. We'll get back into the 3-question Thursday quiz and a whole lot more. Stay with us.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. Iran's supreme leader says the Islamic Republic will protect its nuclear and missile capabilities as a national asset. Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei made the statement Thursday, drawing a hard line as President Trump seeks a wider deal to cement the war's 3-week ceasefire. Khamenei also said Americans belong, quote, at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. His remarks come as Iran's oil industry struggles under a U.S. Navy blockade. The Trump administration trying to persuade other nations to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. economy registered a rebound in the first quarter after a disappointing end to last year. First quarter gross domestic product growth was up 2% from the 0.5% reading in the fourth quarter. Prior to the release, the Atlanta Federal Reserve's GDP Now model indicated growth would be around 1%. Consensus forecast of economists suggested a 2.3% expansion. Consumer spending, net exports, and private investments contributed to the growth rate. Consumers continue to open their wallets with spending up 1.6%. The Supreme Court Wednesday ordered Louisiana to redraw its congressional map in a landmark voting rights decision. The court dealt a blow to a key provision of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 by blocking an electoral map that specifically created a second majority black congressional district. In a 6-3 decision, justices upheld a lower court ruling that found the map unconstitutional. The dispute centered on whether the districts amounted to race-based gerrymandering, with the lower court concluding race played too large a role in how the map was drawn, violating the Constitution's guarantee of equal protection. A British stabbing suspect has been referred to the government's counter-extremism program. Metropolitan Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley confirmed the Somalian-born suspect had a history of serious violence and mental health issues. The 45-year-old was known to the Prevent Counter-Extremism program and was subject to a referral in 2020. Force said the case was closed within the year. Wednesday morning, 2 Jewish people were stabbed in broad daylight in the North London area. What's being treated as a terror attack. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and his cabinet facing growing calls to tackle the surge of anti-Semitism across the country. Senator and his team say they've uncovered additional evidence federal officials worked to evade requests made under the Freedom of Information Act. Several emails obtained by Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson showed personnel with the FDA and CDC were aware of FOIA requests and sought to evade them. The grand jury charged Dr. David Morens, a former official with the National Institutes of Health, this week with conspiring to destroy some records and conceal others after he wrote in missives obtained by journalists and Johnson that he wanted to use a personal email address to evade the Freedom of Information Act. In one email cited by prosecutors, Morens said in 2020 he wanted to, quote, keep this correspondence off USG emails for obvious reasons, so I am sending from Gmail. 51 degrees at 4:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
This weather is brought to you by Grove Appliance Furniture and Mattress. Local, trusted, and family-owned for 90 years. With a huge selection of appliances, furniture, and mattresses to go with unmatched customer service. I can't rule out a scattered shower, maybe a rumble of thunder through your afternoon, a little sunshine in between. Our high, cooler than we've been, 59 degrees. Overnight, an isolated shower, a lot of clouds, and a low, a chilly 40. I am Art J. Weather from 3 News.
Rediscover the comfort of home with Grove Appliance Furniture and Mattress, your hometown spot for comfort, quality, and style. From sleek new appliances that make life easier to furniture that actually fits the way you live, Grove helps you create a space that feels like home. And with hundreds of fabric options, you can make it completely your own. Don't forget about their design center. If you're looking for a complete overhaul, they can help you with all of it, from cabinets and countertops to backsplashes and sleek appliances. Their local team takes time to find out exactly what you need. No pressure, no guessing, just honest advice and real service. And if you're upgrading on a budget, check out Grove's Scratch and Dent Room, where small imperfections mean big savings on top brands. Because when your home feels right, everything else just works. Grove Appliance Furniture and Mattress. Hometown comfort made simple.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
WDPN, welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. It is time for Sammy's Best Bet. We are on a little bit of a skid, but you know what? That just fires you up even more to come back and right the wrong. They call it chasing, which is something you should never, ever do. But that's what we're going to do because we're getting back on the horse today. And I've found a game in the NBA. And I like this team. I used them before, and they came through. And I'm talking about C.J. McCollum and the Atlanta Hawks. Remember we had the Hawks plus like 5.5? It was in like game 2 of the series with the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, and they won the game outright. I like the Hawks tonight at home against New York. The Knicks are laying 2.5. I think that's going to stay steady up until tip-off tonight at 7 o'clock. I like the Hawks at home, plus the 2.5 against the Knicks. And if Atlanta wins tonight, or if they win tonight, they're going to force a game 7. I think the Hawks got a chance to win the game tonight, and I love them getting the 2.5. Sammy's best bet tonight, Hawks plus the 2.5 against the Knicks in Atlanta. That's Sammy's best bet of the night. Come on, CJ. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Let me see here. Boy, my phone has been... First of all, the battery has been draining so fast today. Like faster than normal. And you got to remember, I'm one of those paranoid cell phone owners that once my battery gets to like 62%, I break out into a cold sweat and I have to find a charger.
That's a bad habit.
It's terrible.
That's really bad for your battery.
I know. Well, this phone is it's probably 6 years old.
Okay, so we're talking about your old phone, not your new phone.
I don't like the newer one. I do not like my newer phone at all. I only got it for other stuff, side hustle stuff, and I hate it. It's slow. I don't like the new phone at all, and it even drains the battery really fast. But my older phone, like I said, once I get to 60%, I'm looking for an outlet because I got to charge the phone. It's at 61% right now, and I'm, but I'm getting.
How long does?
Okay, I knew. Well, I want to make sure on this. Let me check a couple of sources here. Yep, there it is. Okay, I can announce it now. God, hit the breaking news, Rainsburg.
Okay, 1 sec.
I was hoping we didn't have to do this today. I knew it was coming. Knew about it last week, actually. And great news and very sad news. University of Mount Union head basketball coach Mike Fuline is stepping down at the university. My man. He is going to Cincinnati, and he's going to be an assistant coach with Coach Calhoun and the Bearcats. I got wind of this last Thursday, and it just broke my heart. But I was so happy for Coach. He put in, 14 years at Mount Union, came over from Jackson, got a state championship with the Bears in Division I, and obviously he and Coach Calhoun are very close. And when Coach Calhoun left Utah State and came to Cincinnati, my antenna went up and I thought, this might be a move. And it was kind of quiet for a little bit. And then it picked back up. And then I found out last Thursday that Coach Fuline was gonna step down at Mount Union, and they made that public today. I said I wasn't going to say anything until the right time, and so that was the right time. And Coach Mike Fuline stepping down as the head basketball coach at the University of Mount Union, and he will be a assistant coach for Coach Jared Calhoun at the University of Cincinnati.
Sorry, purple suit.
I'm just reliving this devastation over again. I knew about it last Thursday. I actually told some of the folks in our meeting yesterday morning.
I had completely forgotten about it.
And I told you.
Yep.
And I kind of like, okay. And now I'm getting sad again.
Yeah,
but I'm
now I'm
so
bummed.
happy for Coach and his family. Hey, you're going to Cincinnati, brother. That's a nice Division I school in the Big 12. You get to work with Coach Calhoun, and take the next step. 15 years ago, I'm going to read a quote from Coach Fuline on the release. Quote, from the first day on the job 15 years ago, we set out to build a family-first program. The players, coaches, administration, and the community embraced that attitude over time. We became a family. We hope we made the history and the community proud. Having the opportunity to join a head coach in Jared Calhoun and his staff who embraced those same philosophies in Cincinnati is something I'm truly grateful for. From all of the few lines to everyone at Mount Union, thank you. We will miss you. To Larry Karras, thank you for taking a chance on us. Your mentoring and friendship will never be forgotten. Mike Fuline stepping down as the head basketball coach at the University of Mount Union. He is going to Cincinnati to be an assistant coach with the UC Bearcats. Quote here from Mr. P, the athletic director, Mike Parnell over at Mount Union. Mike has elevated our men's basketball program to championship standards with passion and a commitment to our student athletes. The winning foundation he's laid sets us up for future success. We thank him for his dedication to Mount Union athletics, wish him well and his family and all the best at the University of Cincinnati. He did so much for this basketball program. You got to remember, when he came in, he took over. Mount Union men's basketball program was not in a very good spot. It wasn't. I'm just being transparent here. It was not in a very good position. And he came in, and I'm not saying he did it overnight, but he accelerated the process of getting them to where they are now. Mike was a multi-time OAC Great Lakes Region Coach of the Year. OAC regular season championships, OAC tournament championships, tournament runs in the NCAAs, a championship berth the year they went to the Final Four in Fort Wayne. Got robbed of a chance to win a national championship the year that COVID came. He did so much for the Mount Union basketball program. He got people to come out and watch them on Wednesday nights and Saturday afternoons. He was able to recruit this area with such an incredible impact and got guys to stay home, stay close to home. And the results speak for themselves. I'm so happy for him and his wonderful family. They got a big family, and he's going to do well at Cincinnati. I know he's looking forward to it. Now I'm going to reach out to Coach, and he knows this is coming. I got to have him on, right?
Oh yes,
got to have Coach on to talk about it. So I'm going to reach out and see when he can come on, and we can have a little conversation, like we're just kind of kicking back on the patio and just kind of have a little chat and kind of see where he's at and what he's looking forward to the most. But obviously we'll talk about his incredible success at Mount Union and what he did for the program, the student athletes, the school, and we'll look ahead to the big things he's got cooking down at the University of Cincinnati. So if you're just tuning in or joining us or what have you, Mike Fuline is stepping down as the head basketball coach at the University of Mount Union. He will be on Jared Calhoun's staff down at the University of Cincinnati.
I didn't know he'd been there that long. That's crazy.
like the last couple of years, I kept thinking it was like 12, 13, 15 years. 15 years.
He doesn't look old enough to have worked there for 15 years.
No.
That's why I was so surprised.
No. Still looks great. So obviously, the program now will start the search for a new coach. I imagine that they will look at some of the assistant coaches that were on Coach Mike's staff for all these years. Says the release of the new Mount Union men's basketball coach will be announced in the coming weeks. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But I talked to Keller today. I hadn't seen Keller in a while. I told him about it this afternoon. He's like, "Oh man!" And we started just talking about it in the lobby. And it's gonna be different now, right? It's gonna be different. No more Uncle Joe on the end of the bench cursing. No, I mean, that's one of the greatest things that I enjoyed. I know I'm sick. One of the greatest things was doing Mount Union basketball games at the Mac Center at home, and where we were located on the press row, we were down at the far right end, which is right next to the Mount Union bench. So they had the chairs set up for Coach Mike and the staff, and then the players. Well, Uncle Joe had a stool right behind the last chair on the bench. So I could literally reach out with my right hand and tap Uncle Joe. And one of the greatest things that happened during games was the cursing in just like he would mumble curse, but I knew what he was saying. And I just couldn't help it laugh. And sometimes it was when, we would miss a free throw or something, and he would just go on his, oh my God, it was just so funny. I am going to miss that. I really am. So man, shout out to the few lines, and I'm going to miss him. I really am. But I'm going to reach out to Coach Mike and see when he can come on, and we can just kick back and have a little conversation here on 1310 WDPN. All right, we're going to take a break. We're coming up on 10 minutes till the top of the hour. 330-821-1310. Text line is open, 330-924-7088. Also, you can listen, you can watch live right now on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel, and drop your comments in there as well. Stay with us, everybody. Much more to come.
It's a pledge about becoming an adult. It's a pledge to not drink and drive. It's a pledge to stay sober and to make smart decisions. And Alliance High School is making that pledge.
It's Christian and Lauren in the morning, and we're taking our show on the road and broadcasting live from Alliance High School for the 18th annual Students for Sobriety broadcast on May 1st. Not only are we bringing the morning show, but tons of fun and prizes too.
The 18th annual Students for Sobriety broadcast is brought to you by Safe Communities with the Stark County Sheriff's Office, Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health, ComQuest Recovery Services, CSE Federal Credit Union, SARTA, Genesis Recovery and Wellness, Hatherell Insurance, and the Vandevart team.
Tune in Friday, May 1st to catch us live from Alliance High School.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Ready to sink that winning putt? The Alliance Lions Club is bringing the heat to Fun Times Fun Park on May 16th for a massive miniature golf tournament. It's fun for all ages. For just $25, you get lunch, a t-shirt, and a shot at our hole-in-one contest and prizes. Sign-in starts at 9:15 a.m. Most importantly, we're putting for a purpose. All proceeds support the Ohio Lions Pediatric Cancer Foundation, providing vital research and family support. 1 in 285 children will face cancer by age 20. Let's help them beat the odds. Register by May 10th at alliancelions.itemorder.com or call David at 330-206-1179. Master the green and make a difference. We'll see you there.
Feeling all gangster right now.
I was just trying to lighten the mood.
I'm going to call Coach Feline and tell him, you're not going anywhere, buddy. You're staying here. I'm not having it. You did ask me if this was okay.
I don't know if he'd respond well to threats.
Probably not. Oh, man. 8 minutes till the top of the hour. Sam Bourquin Show back with you. Again, Mike Feline stepping down as the head basketball coach at the University of Mount Union. Coach Mike is going to go to the University of Cincinnati and be an assistant coach on the staff of Jared Calhoun. So, yeah, we'll see if we can get Coach to come on. Might not be this week, but maybe next week. And, man, got to have him on for one more 3-question Thursday quiz, right?
Absolutely.
Got to do that. Can't do that today, obviously, because the news just getting out today. But
you think he's busy today? After all that, might be a little bit.
I'm sure. Like the fact that he made the decision.
Oh yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be calling
last
him.
week, but that it's just coming out today. I'm sure his phone is going crazy right about now. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Mountain Union baseball team doubleheader against Muskingum this afternoon. Purple Raiders won game 1, 12-5. They have started the nightcap. I believe they're in the second inning, and Mount leads Muskingum by the score of 1-0. We've got On This Day in Sports History coming up at 5:29. Also want to thank Benny Axelrod from Front Office Sports for joining us earlier in the program. 5 o'clock hour, we will hear from head coach of the Cavaliers, Kenny Atkinson, with his thoughts on Game 5 and look ahead to Game 6 Friday night in Toronto against the Raptors. Again, that's a 7:30 tip, and it will be on Amazon Prime. All right, we've got the 3-question Thursday quiz. I want to kind of hop back into that here as we wrap up the hour 2 of the show. Question number 1. You can get your comments to us on any of our social media platforms, including the chat room on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Question number 1. Who has the nicest high school baseball stadium in Stark County? Who's got the nicest ballpark? Question number 2. Are you keeping up? Do you follow the progress that's being made at the Hall of Fame Village? And question number 3. Best and worst thing about the internet. What's the best and worst thing about the internet? 330-821-1310 or get your comments in on all of our social media platforms. Where did I leave off earlier? Brian Golick checking in today says Thurman Munson's the nicest stadium. He does not keep up with the Hall of Fame Village. And the best and worst about the internet, social media is both the best and the worst. Rosetta checking in says Munson the nicest stadium. She keeps up a little bit with the Hall of Fame Village progress. She says the negativity is the worst thing about the internet.
Hall of Fame City checking in. He says Munson by a mile. And then he says, lol, progress. It's time to chalk that up to a loss.
Oh.
And finally, the best thing about the internet is the ability to follow sports better. The worst thing is social media when it becomes a reality show.
Yeah.
So social media in general then.
Right. Let's see here. Ron checks in. He just answered the first one. He says, North Canton Hoover has the nicest high school baseball stadium. in Stark County. It's a nice one, man. It really is.
Is that Munson?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, Munson is for Canton McKinley.
Okay.
And then Hoover is, they used to call it Dick Miller Field. Maybe they still do over at North Canton. But
I can see why that might have got phased out.
It's nice, man. Jim checking in says Louisville's Field of Dreams is the best baseball stadium in Stark County for high school. He says, I follow what happens, let's see, with the restaurants and the rides and some of the negativity, but hoping they can get this thing finished finally. Best and worst thing about the internet, he's able to follow family and friends from afar. Dislike is the fake, this is what he said, the fake crap, especially all the AI stuff that's been popping up.
Hit the nail on the head there.
Late. Yeah, we had, you and I had a conversation about AI yesterday. And of course, we were talking about that first AI coach that UMass is going to use for their football program. And then we kind of got started, and yeah, we weren't real thrilled.
I could do a show every day about how much I hate AI. So, whenever you want to bring that up.
It's what, for what we do, and we've had talks about this in our meetings, and I know we've had talks about it at the old water cooler here over the last several months about what, AI, artificial intelligence, what it's going to do, the fact that it is here, the fact that it's probably not going to go away. It's probably going to take jobs away. I guess, you've got to come to grips with it and what it is, what it represents. And there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad with AI. I'm still trying to go through the process of completely, fully grasping what it is, or what it's all about, best way to use it, how not to get fooled by it, things like that. Like, I'll be 100% honest. I will pull up stuff on social media and I'll think that it's real because it looks so real. Come to find out that it's not, that it's a fake story, that it's a fake picture, that it's a Photoshop, that it's this, that, and the other. I'm like, man, you kind of take pride in being able to tell things apart like that. And when you see a story and you want to talk about it, then to come to find out that it was a bunch of nonsense. AI can be good, it can be bad. I guess like everything else, good with the bad. Internet, good with the bad. Social media, good with the bad. Same with artificial intelligence. It seems like I don't want to say it seems like it's just kind of like taken over quickly, but it's there, man. It's out there.
The problem with AI, I think, primarily currently is it's ruining a lot of people's just general trust, and it's making people overall more paranoid, because I have the opposite thing. When I'm on the internet, I assume things are fake AI until I can figure out for sure that they are in fact real. I think a lot of people do that nowadays because it's just easier and safer.
Yeah, it's here, and some are afraid to embrace. Some don't want to.
Some will fight it every day. I'm just trying to get a grasp in how to use it to the best of my ability for what I do. But it's really taken on a life of its own, I should say. And it's not going anywhere, I don't think. I mean, there's trends. We always have trends every 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. What's coming, what's leaving, what's going to come back, what's never going to come back, what's going to stay, what's going to wear out. I'm pretty sure AI is not ever going to go away, but I don't know. I guess you just got to be careful about that. All right, we got the news. We got the weather coming up here at the top of the hour. 2 hours in, one more big hour to go. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The partial government shutdown ending after 76 days. House Republicans passing a measure to restore funding. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The House, which has been sitting on this bill that the Senate passed some time ago that funds every single agency inside the Department of Homeland Security, including the TSA, just not immigration enforcement operations. It's been sitting on that legislation because there was a concern among some hardline Republicans that there needed to be some other legislative vehicle to fund ICE and immigration enforcement. And so we've really been waiting days, if not weeks, to see what Speaker Johnson would do here.
Polymarket announced it's picked a blockchain data company to continually monitor for suspicious trades. It comes a week after prosecutors brought the first criminal case of insider trading on a prediction market. Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla departing the U.S. today after their 4-day visit. Earlier today, the king laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. This is ABC News.
Restore your tires shine and protect them from sun fading at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Save $2 when you buy 2 cans of Superior Products Coverall tire dressing. Plus receive 4 times O Rewards points. Coverall stays where it's sprayed and delivers a long-lasting shine. Stop by your O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Zoe, a personal stylist at Macy's Herald Square, and I live for our friends and family sale because I can say yes to the brands my customers have been eyeing, like BCBG, 30% off, Kendra Scott, 30% off, Steve Madden, Levi's, yep, 30 off. And yes, there's 15 off Macy's Beauty and Fragrance too. Yes, you can also sign up for Star Rewards and earn faster at Macy's Friends and Family today. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Clint Marshall on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. A Starr County grand jury has indicted a Canton man in the crash that killed a city police officer. Police say 34-year-old Garth Haynes of Canton was driving his pickup southbound in the 800 block of Cherry Avenue Southeast November 10th when he spun across the road into the path of a vehicle driven by 47-year-old Dave Walgamont of Dover. The pickup was hit on the passenger's side. The case will be heard in Canton Municipal Court. Icy road conditions were reported at the time of the crash. Haynes was indicted on 3 misdemeanor charges, including vehicular manslaughter. Pretrial hearing May 20th for a former Louisville City Council member. 38-year-old Micah Mills has pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor menacing by stalking an Akron Municipal Court. She's free on $10,000 bond with GPS monitoring. Police say a 52-year-old Akron woman reported receiving numerous harassing calls and texts. Investigators cite doorbell camera footage that allegedly shows Mills at the home multiple times. Her attorney says she resigned from council in February because of the charge and denied any threats were made. In September, Perry Township trustees agreed to spend $10,000 for an independent review of the fiscal officer's operations. Last week, fiscal officer Craig Chesler informed trustees his office would not authorize payment for the work. According to the repository, a letter from Chesler's attorney says it's against the law for trustees to retain Alliance attorney Julie Jackmedes to investigate the office and to use township funds to pay for it. Chesler says he thinks the review of his office was a personal attack. The review has not yet been presented to the board. Strong first quarter results reported by Diebold Nixdorf, highlighted by growth in cash flow, profits, and revenue. Company says revenue was about $892 million, up 6% from a year ago. Adjusted earnings increased to 67 cents per share. The North Canton-based maker of ATMs and security systems reported free cash flow more than tripled year over year, marking 6 straight quarters of positive cash generation. The company also reaffirmed its full-year outlook, including $3.8 to $3.9 billion in projected revenue. An historic Canton landmark has opened its doors to the public again following a $600,000 restoration. The Timken Gatehouse in Stadium Park held a grand reopening ceremony this morning through Canton Parks and Recreation. Built in 1911, the structure once served as the entrance to the Timken Mansion and housing for estate and hospital workers. It will now be used for small weddings, family gatherings, and community events. Deadly head-on crash in Streetsboro now heading to sentencing after a man pleaded guilty. 35-year-old Devontae Anthony of Cleveland admitted in Portage County Court Monday to aggravated vehicular homicide. Prosecutors say Anthony crossed the center line on Route 43 in March of 2024 and struck an oncoming car killing 63-year-old George Shiner of Kent. Investigators say speed and reckless passing contributed to the crash. Man cited after a crash in Lisbon that left 2 vehicles in flames. 51-year-old Michael Stouffer of Salem charged with failure to yield in the Monday afternoon collision. Police say his work truck turned into the path of an oncoming vehicle at South Lincoln Avenue and West Lincoln Way. Driver was pulled from the burning vehicle and suffered minor injuries. Stouffer and a passenger were not hurt. Columbiana County judge rejected a request to reconsider a lawsuit over the Penn, Ohio landfill. Now the plaintiff is appealing. Dennis Wallace of East Palestine filed with the 7th District Court of Appeals after his case was dismissed by Judge Megan Bickerton. Wallace, who filed the suit himself, claimed the landfill and state environmental officials allowed fraud and misinformation that destroyed an historic mound system. Bickerton ruled the complaint failed to state a valid claim. Federal judge has moved 3 civil rights lawsuits against Ursuline High School and the Catholic Diocese of Youngstown closer to resolution. Cases have been marked as settled and dismissed without prejudice, meaning they could be reopened if terms are not completed. Final closure depends on probate court approval. Lawsuits filed between September and November allege racial harassment, hazing, and physical assault involving the school's football program, along with claims of retaliation and unequal discipline. Court filings indicate mediation led to agreements with multiple defendants. Austintown police investigating after a body was found inside a home. Officers called Sunday to a residence on South Raccoon Road during a welfare check concerning a 17-year-old girl. Police found a bedroom door taped shut and discovered a body with indications the person might have been dead for about a month. Authorities say initial information suggested the girl had left the home weeks earlier. No charges have been filed. Officials say students and staff at 3 Youngstown schools were never in danger after threats were reported Wednesday. Safety procedures were followed after bomb threats were reported at East High School, Taft Elementary, and Woodrow Wilson Alternative School. Police investigated but found nothing to confirm the threats. Officials say the reports are considered not credible. 51 degrees at 5:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A cooler weather afternoon, more than we're used to. A high near 59 degrees, some scattered rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, a little sunshine in between. Overnight, we'll continue an isolated rain shower threat. A lot of clouds hanging around and a chilly low near 40. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Murray boils the basket. Final shot to Cleveland. Mitchell, 30-footer. Oh, yeah! What a close to the first quarter for the Cavaliers. Mitchell, no look. Mobley with the finish. Since halftime.
No, they haven't. They've leveled off a little bit. Well, when you're shooting 60-some%, you have to level off.
How about Mobley with another triple? 6 to shoot. Cunningham shake and bake. Cunningham fires. Oh, yeah! Ozzie takes off. Middleton drills it towards the gap. It is gone! Truest magic tonight. A walk-off winner for Olsen.
Clock, 20 seconds left on this Utah power play. Vegas off ice, an aggressive stance. Steal by Howden. Scores!
And with that, welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live. You can watch and listen on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Also on the 1310 WDPN Facebook page, our X page, and of course, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We got the chat open right now. A little bit of breaking news as we start the 5 o'clock hour. If you weren't with Lissus, my God. I am a trained professional. Trust me.
Oh, it's fine.
If you were not with us the last couple of minutes of the 4 o'clock hour, head coach of the University of Mount Union, Mike Fuline, basketball team, he is stepping down after 15 years on the bench. He is going to the University of Cincinnati to be an assistant under head coach Sean Calhoun with the Bearcats. So Coach Feuerlein stepping down as the head basketball coach at the University of Mount Union. So happy for Mike and his family. An incredible opportunity. Can't pass that up at this point. But boy, what he did for the Mount Union basketball program, I don't have enough time to tell you. I really don't. He took a program that was in not very good shape and brought it on the national level. Got him to a Final Four, got him to the national championship game, had a team in, 2020, 2021. If it was not for COVID, in my heart of hearts believed, would have won a national championship at the Division III level, but they got robbed of that opportunity. Numerous OAC championships, OAC tournament championships, a couple of runs in the NCAA tournament, Division III, and just brought pride, brought excitement, brought fun, the family atmosphere. He brought it all. Brought it all to Mount Union. And as happy as I am for Coach, I'm a little sad. It's just going to be a little bit different now. But, when the time comes, the time comes. And to go to a Power 4 school, the Division I level, be in the Big 12 conference, and you're going to be in Cincinnati, which is a very nice basketball program, lots of tradition, great place to play, great coaches over the years, great players over the years, and now he gets to go be a part of that and be an assistant coach and try to help, get the Bearcats back where they want to be. And I just wish him nothing but the best. And again, I'll reach out to Coach and see if he would be available and like to come on and just have a one last conversation here on the show on 1310 WDPN. So I'll definitely be doing that here maybe tonight or tomorrow, and we'll see if Coach will come on and just chop it up with us for a little bit. But man, the memories at the Mac Center over the years, big games there, big games on the road, the tournament games, the incredible run to Fort Wayne and getting to the national championship game. Just the crowds that grew every year that he was there. When he first got there, you were lucky if there was 150 people at a Mount basketball game. You were lucky. Lucky. And every game that went by, every season that went by, more interest, more excitement, bigger crowds, more vocal crowds. Place to be. It got to be a pretty hot ticket. And the success that they had, the success that he had with the recruiting and the turning the whole atmosphere into the great big positive that it was, cannot be underestimated. And he is being rewarded for it now with a chance to go coach with the University of Cincinnati. Just an incredible run for Mike Feuerlein at Mount Union. And comments are coming in on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel in the chat. Rainsburg, we got a couple there.
Purple Suit asks, which Mount team do you think is going to win a natty next? Football with Burke and Kappas, basketball, or the baseball team?
Oh, boy.
I don't know. That baseball team's looking pretty good this year.
They're looking pretty good. I still think they need another arm in the rotation, probably another arm in the bullpen. But with that being said, they can score runs like I have never seen a team score. So that's a tough question. I mean, Mountain football always in the mix, right? The basketball team's been in the mix the last couple of years. I don't know what things are going to look like next year. I don't know who the coach is going to be. I don't know which. I mean, I'm hoping guys don't get in the portal, but I mean that's inevitable. So I'm not even sure who's going to be on the team next year. And of course, the baseball squad They're in the middle of a doubleheader with Muskingum right now. Purple Raiders won the opener today, 12-5, so they are now 29-8 on the season, and they have started game 2 of that doubleheader. And last I saw, Mount was up 1-0. That was in like the second or third inning. Latest update here, top of the 5th inning, Mount leads Muskingum by the score of 2-0. Excuse me. So the Raiders are playing good ball today on a very chilly day for baseball over at Rayfield Rogers Field. But the Hall of Fame coach, Paul Hesse, got them playing really, really well. Softball team is playing well, too. Shout out to the Raiders softball team. They are nationally ranked as well. So that was the big news that kind of dropped today. Cavaliers and the Raptors last night. I know it's a win. 125-120. Game 6 is coming up Friday in Toronto. We went over the box score earlier in the show, and Dennis Schroeder was the guy last night. He had 19. James Harden played decent. He did have 6 more turnovers. Donovan Mitchell played decent. Jared Allen did not do much last night. Dean Wade was okay in limited minutes off the bench. Evan Mobley was okay. But again, there were times in the game last night where I said, hey, man, what are we doing? I mean, what are you doing giving up 77 points in a first half of a playoff game at home? That's regular season crap. You don't give up 77 points in a game in a first half. That's crazy talk. But that's what happened. And here all along, I thought last night the Cavs were going to come out on fire after being, trust me, they read, they hear, they listen. They know what's being said. They know what's being written. And I really, truly thought that they would come out and just punch Toronto right between the eyes. And Toronto would stagger a little bit, and then the Cavs would come and punch them again and knock them down. And then I thought they'd step on their throat and take like a 28-point lead in the first half. I could see it. I had visions of it. Nope, didn't happen. Came out and just didn't play great. In the situation they were in, they just didn't play great. But they had enough. They shot the threes really well. Free throws, they were 75%. Now, they got out-rebounded, right? They got out-rebounded defensively. They got out-rebounded offensively. Toronto had a gazillion more assists than the Cavs, and Cleveland still found a way to win. Now, I will also tell you, the Raptors lost another player last night due to injury. They started the series without one of their main guards. So this really shouldn't be this difficult. I mean, they lost Brandon Ingram last night after 11 minutes. He had to go out. Emmanuel Quickly out with the hamstring to start the series. He's a big piece of that team. I know if you don't follow, Toronto Raptors basketball 365 days a week, but yeah, Quigley's a player. Brandon Ingram's a player. And we are still struggling to beat this number 5 seed without 2 of their best players. And that's the worry for me. It's not that I'm not enjoying the win. I mean, I am. But it just shouldn't be this difficult. And I know it's a number 4 against a number 5. I know it's supposed to be difficult, I guess. But I'm looking at the tail of the tape, and the Cavaliers, on paper, are so much better of a team. But when they get out on the floor, it takes a turn sideways.
They don't play like a team.
And I don't understand why there is such a difference in the way this team plays between the regular season and the postseason. If you've been around the NBA basketball for a long time, you know it's two completely different things. Regular season ball, it's a lot of 141 to 136. There's no defense. There's load management. There's tanking. There's guys hanging out in the club at 3 a.m. the night before a game. All that. There's injuries. There's everything. Once you get to the playoffs, it's time to put your big boy pants on. It's going to be different. Teams are going to play defense, supposedly. Referees are going to let some of the stuff go that maybe they would call during the regular season. You have to what? You have to adapt. Our guys, I don't think, adapt to the physicality as much as some of the other teams do. So that's like another red X for the Cavaliers there. When all is going well, and we're hitting threes, and we're running up and down the floor, and we're making 6-7 passes, and everybody's smiling, and we're having the Cavalanche, and when it's all going good, it's going good. And it all goes good until it doesn't. And usually that's when the playoffs start. And for some reason, we morph into something else. And that's been the problem with this team the last couple of years in the playoffs. Regular season, we look fantastic. 50-plus wins. Running teams right off and then the playoffs come around, and it's like they revert. They go into a shell. They lose whatever juice that they had, and they let these other teams intimidate them, and they let them be more physical, and they let them rip the ball out of their hands, and they get beat on the offensive glass. They don't come out and try to block. They don't try to close out, which is the term, a three-point shooter. They get caught in screens in the paint, and they're fumbling and tripping all over themselves, and they can't get back to the defensive spot they need to be in. And then pretty soon, teams go on a 8-0 run, 12-2 run, 15-4 run. And you're sitting looking at the scoreboard going, what the hell just happened here? Who are we playing again? Who's not playing for them? What is going on? And it's just a pattern. It's been a pattern for years. I've never felt so unstable about a team with a 3-2 lead in a best-of-7 series in my life. Now, this could all be a bunch of poo-ha, and the Cavs could go to Toronto Friday night and put it away. And then all these conversation and all these hissy fits and tantrums that we're all throwing get thrown in the trash. Because guess what? It doesn't mean anything anymore. It was all what? Overreaction. Let the series play out. That's why it's 7 games. That's why they call it a series. But until you notch that 4th win, until you put that team away so you can advance to the next round, this is how it's going to be. These are the conversations that need to be had. I want them, you want them, we all want them so badly to just play better, to be stronger, to be more passionate.
Get a little mad about it, man.
Yeah, God, there's nothing wrong with getting mad.
No, when somebody slaps the ball out of your hands, get mad about it. That's annoying. That's infuriating. Should bother you.
Don't be weak in the moment. And that's like the knock. That's just the knock on the team. 125-120, the winner last night. Kenny Atkinson, we'll check in with Coach here on the other side of the break here at the bottom of the hour. But Game 6 tomorrow, 7:30. Again, it is on Amazon Prime. Also tonight, there are 1, 2, 3 Game 6s. Crazy. Atlanta, New York at 7 o'clock. Knicks lead the Hawks 3-2. Sixers in the Celtics tonight, 8 o'clock. Boston leads 3-2. Nuggets, Wolves in Minnesota, 9:40 tonight. The Wolves lead that series 3-2. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll roll into On This Day in Sports History. That's coming up next here on 1310 WDPN.
AWP Safety, North America's leading traffic safety company, wishes the best of luck to Stark County student athletes this fall, and they need you. Join AWP as a protector for steady work and an important job keeping people safe. They offer paid training, certification, referral bonuses, and advancement opportunities. To apply, visit jobs.awpsafety.com. That's jobs.awpsafety.com.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
Weird, confusing, and at times pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful
and can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why I.
That's why we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
For the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is 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 a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
(1310) WDPN. It is time for On This Day in Sports History. On this day in 1939, Lou Gehrig played his last game with the Yankees. He had played in 2,130 consecutive games. On this day in 1989, Bill Shoemaker won his 1,000th stakes race. 1993. Remember this? Monica Seles was stabbed by Gunther Porsche. He had run onto the tennis court after her match and stabbed her in the upper back. Ugh. 1996, the Yankees and Orioles played the longest 9-inning game in Major League history. It took 4 hours and 21 minutes. Not with ABS. Not anymore. On this day in 1991, we'll take you back to Madison Square Garden, a little playoff game with the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls, and a young man by the name of Michael Jordan took the ball and did this.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move by Jordan! It counts. And the foul.
First of all, Jordan on the beautiful dismissal of the defense. That is one of the moves of the season.
I could watch that over and over and over. He went right over John Starks, and he pounded that ball through the hoop, as Marv would say, with authority. It was awesome. It was beautiful. And it happened on this day in history in 1991. That is today's On This Day in Sports History. News and weather next, 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. House of Representatives Wednesday passed two pieces of legislation to fund the federal government. In a 215 to 211 vote, the House approved a bill to start the budget reconciliation process, the filibuster-approved process being used to advance funding for immigration and customs enforcement and other immigration enforcement agencies over the opposition of Democrats. Senate approved advancing the measure April 23rd. It begins the process ordering House and Senate committees to write legislation to provide up to $70 billion for ICE and Border Patrol. House leadership has expressed the intention of keeping the bill constrained to immigration enforcement. U.S. economy registered a solid rebound in the first quarter after a disappointing end to 2025. First quarter gross domestic product growth was 2%, up from the 0.5% reading in the fourth quarter. Prior to the release, the Atlanta Federal Reserve's GDP Now model indicated growth would be around 1%. Consensus forecast suggested a 2.3% expansion. Consumer spending, net exports, and private investments contributed to the growth rate. Consumers continue to open their wallets, with spending up 1.6%. The Iranian rial hit a new record low today amid a U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. The currency remained stable during the war, but beginning Monday, demand for foreign banknotes suddenly flooded the open market. The naval blockade has prevented Iran from acquiring foreign currency through exports, leading the rial to enter a precipitous decline. The Iranian Student News Agency said the rial fell roughly 15% in 2 days, with Wednesday's exchange rate sitting at 1.81 million to every $1 US. The rial had already collapsed in value last year, losing 70% against the dollar. Currency devaluation and inflation triggered the December protests that culminated in Tehran's brutal crackdown, during which thousands of peaceful protesters were killed. The devaluation comes amid sky-high inflation, which, according to Iran's central bank, was over 65% from March 20th to April 20th. U.S. Supreme Court Wednesday struck down a majority black congressional district in Louisiana in a 6-3 ruling. The high court found the district relied on race when the congressional map was drawn up. Justice Samuel Alito, joined by Chief Justice John Roberts and Justices Thomas Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, Alito wrote, allowing race to play any part in government decision-making represents a departure from the constitutional rule that applies in almost every other context. President Trump said Wednesday the U.S. revealing a possible reduction of U.S. troops stationed in Germany. It had 36,436 active duty troops there in December. It was second only to Japan, with its just over 54,000 active duty U.S. troops. U.S. soldiers have been in Germany since American forces occupied the country after World War II. There were an estimated 250,000 U.S. troops in Germany at its peak during the 40-year Cold War. The president criticized Germany for failing to meet NATO's spending benchmark of 2% of gross domestic product, saying it had been delinquent for years and owed billions in underfunding. 50 degrees at 5:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A cooler weather afternoon, more than we're used to. A high near 59 degrees, some scattered rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, a little sunshine in between. Overnight will continue an isolated rain shower threat, a lot of clouds hanging around, and a chilly low near 40. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. Also, leave your comments on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We got some comments coming through. We'll get into those. Guardians are off tonight. They will be in Sacramento this weekend to take on the Athletics. 9:40 tonight, 4:05 tomorrow, and 4:05 on Sunday. Then get on the Big Bird and fly back this way. They'll make a little pit stop in Kansas City to battle the Royals on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they'll be back home next weekend. Probably a good thing because the weather's not going to be very good for us here or in Northeast Ohio the next 4 or 5 days. So probably best that they're going to be out playing some baseball games in some little better weather and don't have to worry about, rain outs and possible snow flurries and all that other crazy stuff. We're going to be hearing from Coach Kenny Atkinson coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I do want to check in on the Purple Raider baseball team. Again, doubleheader against Muskingum today. They won the first game 12-5, so the Raiders went to 29-8 on the season. And I'm trying to the internet this place. All right, so I'll check that out here in just a little bit. All right, a couple of stories I just want to run through you here. Six-time Pro Bowl defensive lineman Calais Campbell is going to reunite with the Baltimore Ravens. He is going to turn 40 years old on September the 1st, but he's going to come sign a one-year deal with the Ravens. That according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. 39-year-old Calais Campbell. Good for him. Hey, man, if you can still play, go play. This is a cool story. Five-time NBA All-Star John Wall. Remember John Wall when he came out of Kentucky and he went to play for Washington, played for a couple of other teams? He has become the president of basketball operations at Howard University. Wall played for the Wizards from 2010 to 20. He was the franchise's #1 overall pick out of Kentucky. And he's going to go to Howard now and become the president of basketball operations. Good for him. John Wall, he was a human highlight film early in his NBA career. Fun to watch. Fun to watch. I know the Wizards never really did anything with him as far as like winning a lot of games, but man, he was fun to watch. And I came across this story this morning. This is where we're trending, everybody. We're doing it with the pros, and now it's happening in college. Duke University is entering into a first-of-its-kind enterprise partnership with Rainsburg, any guess?
Prime.
Amazon. That will include the retail giant and streaming service televising 3 of their marquee college basketball games next year. The Blue Devils will play UConn in Vegas on November the 25th, Michigan at Madison Square Garden on December 21st, and Gonzaga February the 20th in Detroit. The deal will include extensive NIL opportunities for Duke athletics and is part of a broader retail partnership expected to be announced at a later date.
When's Notre Dame going to do that?
Oh, gosh. Look here. Now watch the dominoes.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Because they don't have like a league or anything they're in, right? They're independent.
No, Duke is in the ACC.
No, Notre Dame.
Oh, well, it's complicated.
Okay.
Notre Dame football and basketball, like, they're an independent, but they have a small schedule of games within the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Of course.
So they don't want to give up being a complete 100% independent. So for scheduling purposes, like for basketball, football, baseball, probably some of the other non-traditional revenue sports, they play a small schedule of games against ACC teams.
Okay.
But look here now, Amazon's got their hooks into Duke, and now watch, and now watch. Here we go. Here we go. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Look at what Amazon has done over the last couple of years. Prime Video has televised select NFL games since 2017, exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football. The streaming service also began an 11-year media rights agreement with the NBA this year, and now they're dipping their toes into the college programs. And who do they go after first? Duke. I mean, who else would you go after at the college basketball level? Holy smokes. There's some eyebrows being raised about this too. This deal could end up marking a harbinger for the future as streamers are expected to be more aggressive in acquiring rights in upcoming collegiate sports rights discussions. This is going to go, it's going to go off the wire now. You watch. Next, it'll be like Arizona and then Kentucky, Michigan. You watch. Pretty soon you're going to need, you'll need a million streaming services to watch college basketball. You think it's bad now? We're trying to keep track of the pros. Wait till these dominoes start to fall.
We got a quick text from Sal today. He says, "Hey guys, happy 1 year on the show. Sam, even though I have no clue on the Derby, I'm taking Commandment. That's the number 6 horse.
That's who
Good luck.
Sal. And I guess today is our anniversary.
We're around that 1 year.
We're
mark.
around that 1 year.
It was sometime this week.
So maybe we'll have a little hoo-ha tomorrow. We'll have a little fun tomorrow.
Sal,
we'll call tomorrow our 1 year anniversary.
I hope you're listening, buddy, because Sam sent me the whole list of all the horse names so I could pick a horse based purely on name alone. I picked 6-speed because that made me laugh.
Sal, I love Commandment. It's 6-1. I'm betting that horse. That's my number one. Now I'll probably do an exacta and I'll bet a try, but I am taking Commandment. So I'm with you. You root for me and I'll root for you. But yes, Commandment, that's my horse. Renegade is now 5-1. He's the favorite. I never bet the favorites in the Derby. Probably should over the years, but they don't pay as much. So you got to look for a little bit of a long shot. Commandment's not a huge long shot. I mean, 6-1. It's not like 20-1, but depending on what you throw down there, you could cash in a little bit. So yeah. By the way, we are going to talk Derby tomorrow with Ed DeRosa from Horse Racing Nation. He's going to join us tomorrow afternoon. Don't know a time yet, but he's going to come on and we're going to break down the Derby tomorrow here on the show, 1310 WDPM. All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we will hear a little bit from Coach Kenny Atkinson of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's coming up next on 1310 WDPM.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
Weird, confusing, and at times pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful
and can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why
we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
For the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is 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 a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
$1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. Going to be hearing from Kenny Atkinson. End of the 6th inning in Game 2 of the doubleheader today. Mount Union and Muskingum. The Purple Raiders now have opened it up. They lead the Muskies by the score of 7-2 as we go to the top of the 7th over at Rayfield Rogers Field. All right, Cavaliers a 125-120 win last night. Been anxious to play some of this for you today. Coach Kenny Atkinson of the Cavaliers reacts to the Cleveland win against Toronto and looks ahead maybe a little bit to Game 6 tomorrow night north of the border. Here's Coach Kenny.
How do you describe the lift that Dennis gave you guys?
Oh, man. You know, the guy's played in a lot of big games. I was just thinking about it when we were talking about trading for him. That was one of the things that came up. Like, this guy's played in huge games in the NBA and then on the international scene. So this type of game fits him. But I think it started with him getting to the rim, and then that loosened up the jumper for him. And then I thought his defense on Barrett, he really got under him, harassed him. He was, as he likes to call him, Dennis the Menace tonight,
In Toronto, Evan didn't have two very good games. Didn't necessarily have the greatest first half tonight, but had an excellent second half. Just what kind of impact did he provide?
Man, really good. I mean, those threes were like, we needed them, I know that's not his bread and butter, but man, he hit them and hit them with confidence. And like I said, I thought those threes were really timely, but more forceful tonight, just in general,
Joe Brady. Kenny, what was the biggest key defensively in the fourth quarter?
I think limited them to one shot. Like, I don't know what their offense. It felt like, first half, that quarter we gave up 4. It's like the key to the series for us. Being able to rebound the ball, and I felt like we were holding them to one shot. I don't know what the possession game ended up, but I thought that was the biggest key defensively.
To win a game like that where he gave up nearly 30 points off turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I thought in the second half we did a better job, right? James, Dennis, I think the ball handling of Dennis helped relieve some of the pressure off Don and James. So I think that was part of it. But I, told them at halftime, the live ball turnovers it just fuels them. It fuels their attack. It gets their momentum going. So we still haven't figured out a way to clean that up. If we're going to win on the road, we gotta find a way.
Come on. Mikey.
Jay, what'd you make of the you guys' offensive execution? I know you guys won, but late season got a little more stagnant than you had earlier.
Yeah, it's always Mike. That's always like, running a play and playing a target game. And you're always trying to find that balance to running maybe something that's got some continuity. And I think the guys felt like they had some matchups they liked. But man, a couple of missed free throws, right? And we don't fit. James has a couple of bunnies there he doesn't normally finishes. I think Evan had that one at the rim, but we got to, we got over the hump. I think this is a step for us from a mental, kind of mental toughness point of view. It was not pretty. We go down 12, the crowd's nervous, everybody's nervous, but I thought we showed really, really good poise and resiliency. When you could have let your guard down. You could have let it go to 20. When it was 12, our guys kept with it.
Kenny, you have gone to
Dean Wade in the starting lineup for the first 4 games of this series. Obviously, now you went to Max Strus and he was able to come through for you guys. What did you make of that decision that you made, and why did it come about?
Yeah, I think it came about. I think we obviously they're gumming up our offense right now. We just needed some more spacing. Max gives us some playmaking too. He can get downhill. He's really good. Really good making passes in the pocket. Dean's kind of more stationary and space guys. So we just felt like we needed some, and it really had nothing to do with the way Dean Wade was playing. And we discussed, man, the guy's playing really good. His defense has been really good, but it was more, we needed the spacing and playmaking of Max.
There were a few scuffles tonight between.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck happened. I wasn't, both times I turned like, so I don't know. I mean, I do think it's the playoffs, right? Like it's, it didn't seem like anything, too sinister. I think the teams respect each other, guys out there competing. I think it happens. I thought the referees did a good job controlling it.
Do you think that just showcases the grit and the management urgency for your guys?
Yeah, I think James was a part of probably 2 of them, and he's a tough dude, man. Like, the guy's like, there's no BS to him. Like he's not taking anything from anybody. So, him and Dennis, they had that edge to us. If a few, how should I say, arguments happened because of it, it's all good.
So, heading into Game 6, chance to close it out on the road. What is one thing, if you could name it, that you would change about from the way things have gone the last couple games heading into that?
I'll just get it's for us. It's winning the possession game. It really comes down to that. I said it before the game. You can talk all pick and roll, all that stuff. Are we going to win the scrums? Are we going to win the rebounds? We're going to take care of the ball. I think if we get more shots in them, we have a good chance. But the 2 games in Toronto, we were minus 21 in the possession game, which is like, it's like statistically like really hard to win games. So, our mentality going in there, got to be able to rebound the ball, got to be able to take care of it. Otherwise we'll be back here for Game 7.
Chris. Hey, Kenny.
Chris.
What do you feel like was the difference in being able to take care of the ball, especially in the second half?
I think Dennis's ball handling helps. Having another ball handler out there helped. I thought our screening was better. You got to screen these elite defenders off our ball handlers, right? We handled the full court pressure a little better. I don't know. Halftime, I say, if the live ball turnovers keep happening, it's not going to go where we want it to go, so we knew we had to clean that up. So, but I do think the screening helped. And then Dennis being out there as a second or third ball handler helped.
You did go a significant stretch in the fourth quarter with Donovan on the bench there, and you kept Dennis in there. What does that show about this team, the makeup?
Well, I was going to put Donovan and Evan back in, and they said, no, this group's rolling. And that, I was like, what? Like, that never happens in the NBA, that shows Donovan. He's so selfless. I think there's 4 minutes left. I think they just scored a bucket. Now, when they scored another bucket, I did get him in. I said, come on. But like, they knew that group was doing well and wanted to keep him out there, both him and Evan.
Felt like you guys had some really strong closeouts in the first quarter, third quarter. What are those moments like for the team, picking each other up through those highs and lows to close out a quarter so strong and then still battle through the up and down?
Yeah, I'll give, I don't know. James has a serenity about him, a composure. He doesn't like when you look at him in a huddle, you don't know if you're up 20 or down 20. I think that helps this group. Helps when you get down. And Donovan's positive. He'll probably talk more, but James is kind of, he's got a steady hand. Your leadership is what matters in to get you. And then, I think it could, we got some energy to close out quarters, because we weathered the storm, when we're struggling, if that makes sense.
Jalen hit some time injuries.
Yes.
How important was that for him to
Yeah.
have those moments here?
We're struggling to score. They're denying, literally playing like a boxing one on James. Other guys got to score. You guys are probably like, man, why is Sam driving? Our role players have to play basketball. That's part of this series. Every series you got to figure out if they're going to deny him and top block him, 94 feet. Other guys got to make plays. Jalen's one of the guys that can do that.
Last two, Joe G and then John.
Kenny, Jared's got 11 block shots in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
How good has he been protecting that?
Yeah, we celebrated that in the locker room. Young unsung hero. I'm glad you brought it up. They were going at the rim hard, and he had some big blocks, especially there in the fourth quarter. I thought he really stepped up.
John said.
Kenny, you say the game wasn't pretty, nerves. You rallied back from multiple double-digit deficits. What can an overall performance like that do to even just a veteran group going forward?
Yeah, especially this group we're trying to get over a hump. We're trying to get to the next level. So, that's a real mental challenge to me, right? Like, especially in a game 5, 2-2, these are high pressure moments. You're down. You could feel the crowd getting nervous. I think we took a step tonight. Whatever happens in this series and all that, and next series, whatever, tonight was a test, and we kind of passed that mental toughness test tonight. Now the big one is like, can you go and beat this team on the road, right? Like can we go in there and go take this? Because we haven't shown we can yet.
Well, you better. You better. Tomorrow night, 7:30, Game 6, Raptors and the Cavaliers in Toronto. That, of course, is head coach of the Cavaliers, Kenny Atkinson. And a couple scores we wanted to throw to you here before we wrap up. Bottom of the 7th in the big leagues, Astros lead the Orioles 11-4. Phillies lead the Giants 2-0 in the second. These are all finals today. Tigers 5, Braves 2, Orioles 10, Astros 3, Cardinals 10, Pirates 5, Phillies 3, Cardinals 2 in game 1. Reds beat the Rockies 6-4. Nationals 5, Mets 4. Boy, the Mets stink. Brewers beat the Diamondbacks 13-1. A's beat the Royals 6-3. A's will welcome in the Guardians Friday night for the first of a 3-game series out in Sacramento. If you missed it earlier today, the breaking news: University of Mount Union looking for a new men's basketball coach. Mike Fuline, after 15 years, has stepped down. Coach Mike is going to go to the University of Cincinnati and be an assistant coach on the staff with head coach Jared Calhoun. And all the best to Coach Mike and the Fulines. Well-deserved. And wow, that's a big one today here locally. And again, I'll reach out to Coach, see if we can get him on and have a little chat about everything, and wish him all the best down in the Queens City. Thanks to Ryan Rainsberg. Great job as always. Thanks to all of you for calling, texting, emailing, and commenting on all of our social media platforms. Love when you make yourself a big part of our program here. And we will do it all over again tomorrow, beginning at 3. Big show tomorrow, fill in the blank Friday. We're going to talk to Ed DeRosa from Horse Racing Nation. We'll get you ready for the calves, the guards. We got a lot of stuff cooking here tomorrow. Don't forget, go Guards, go Bucks, go Cavs, go Browns. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.